Welcome back to another episode of the Ministry of Truth. I am your number one host on this show. I am your only host on this show, and I've got quite a bit of shit I want to go through today. A lot of them having to do with what happened yesterday in the Senate when it comes to an omnibus that would have been terrible for our country. We'll go more into that later too. And then we're going to do a little comparison in history with Mao Zedong, Chinese Communist Party leader. He's dead. Joseph Stalin, also dead. Who else? Bin Laden. Weird. He's dead too. Who else we got? Stalin. Oh yeah, and that's it. Hello, Carmen. How are you doing this fine morning? Afternoon. My bad. Before we get into anything, obviously, ladies and gentlemen, we got to get in a little music so I can open my window because it's fucking hot. I need to let some cold air in here because, well, I'm the only one that likes the cold. So without further ado, I think this is a song, and I hope you guys enjoy it. I picked it specifically for you guys, and because it's a good way to get your blood flowing early in the morning, especially if you're a war fighter.
I'm just here for clickbait.
Lincoln's box seats. Yeah. Woo. Let's go. Whoa. Fuck us is whoa. Fuck us is whoa. Fuck us is. Lick on my dick in America's whoa. Fuck us is whoa. Fuck us is whoa. Fuck us is. You thought this was a comedy, bitch, but it ain't no joke. Just like your sexual life and how you love the fuck.
Oh, we'll get in the drones too. We'll get in the drones, even though I still wouldn't talk about them anymore. Kind of hard not to. And the only reason I say that is because my theory on the drones, someone else has that same theory. It's pretty important. Ooh, speaking of booze. Wait, oh. It's a freedom day every day.
Hey guys, like all ISIS isn't bad. Fuck you! Task force, hunt you till the last gun is fired. You can run, bitch, but you only die tired. You trying to spread fear, you a criminal no more. 72 virgins will never be yours. Loading up the birds, yeah, we're coming for you. We're talking freedom, loving fighters, rocking red, white, and blue. A couple mini guns and some shorty and foes. Gonna shove this middle finger right up your
What's up, guys? Hope you enjoyed the video.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Now that we're back and the music is over, we always know that I like to get into the X-verse and cruise through that every once in a while. So we're going to go through a little bit of cruising through the X universe and see what I found today. First one up is Governor Gavin Newsom. You know, California's Lord and Savior. Let's put a picture up for you there. You like that? That's Gavin Newsom. What a faggot-looking motherfucker. Still wearing a mask like, I don't know. Why does he come into play? Boom! Executive Department, State of California. Proclamation of a state of emergency. Whereas avian flu, commonly known as bird flu, is widespread in wild birds worldwide, including the United States. And bird flu was first dedicated blah, 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 blah. Whereas on March 25th, 2024, an outbreak of bird flu infection in dairy cows was first reported in other states. Blah, 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 blah. Lockdowns. State of emergency, guys. Avian flu is the next COVID. And Gavin Newsom started it. moving on. So the Secret Service, I wonder if they're really, really doing their job. Because this is a post, also from X, which reads, Trump says he wanted to privatize USPS because of it's unprofitable. It is. It's basically taking all money and it's coming out of taxpayer dollars. Reminder that the post office isn't a for-profit enterprise. It's a public service that guarantees everyone in America reliable, affordable, and universal mail service. So should we do the same thing with our government leaders? But Mr. Mary Theodore Doctor, I'm guessing your name's Theodore. I swear to God, I'll put a bullet in his head. So let's take a look at Mary. Mary looks like a person that has very good head on. Oh, God, never mind. Mary's a guy, I think. Yes. I don't know. You feel threatened by this guy? Girl? No? Yeah, neither do I. Dude looks like he tried to shoot a fucking pistol would break his arm. What's up, Yeti? Oh, hold on. I don't want to put this in the wrong order. Ah, fuck it. I don't really give a shit. All right. We're going to get into this a little bit later, but this is a brief overview of one of the things I want to talk about. And this is our 1,500-page omnibus that they were trying to pass and vote on Friday, and they got the paperwork yesterday. The 1,500 pages. They do this shit at the end of every year, and it puts us deeper into debt because, oh my God, we got to pass the budget before blah. The government will shut down by March 25th. You got plenty of time. Let's see what they were trying to put in this bill. We live in a country voted in the historic landslide for a more efficient and transparent federal government. Americans did not vote to gain of function research, which is in the bill. Way to go, Speaker of the House. Mask and vaccine mandates? What? Why is that in an omnibus bill for next year? 12 new biolabs. Oh. Why do we need more biolabs? And where are these biolabs going to be? Massive congressional pay raises. We'll get into that later. $60 billion more to Ukraine. Bro, the fuck? DC Sports Stadium funding. They want to get RFK Stadium, and they want to try to lure back the Washington Redskins. Corrupt emergency powers. Newsom. Molasses inspecting funding. What? You want to pay for molasses inspection? Neither do I. Expansion of the government censorship center. That's not good. Not good at all. Trying to censor you more by throwing it into a bill which you think's, oh no, it's supposed to do good for this country. Woke term changes. Offender to social. They want to change the word offender by law. Change it to justice involved individual. You're a sexual justice involved individual? Nah. You're a sex offender, bitch. Transparency in concert ticket pricing? Okay, I could go with that. But that shouldn't be done by the government. Elimination of the word homeless. You really want to pass a law to make the word homeless obsolete? Allowing lawmakers to opt out of Obamacare? Wait a minute. So if they want to get their own health care, they can. But right now they have to have Obamacare? And swine flu. Y'all are voting for that. Well, not us, but you know what I mean. What up, Roots? And let's continue. I really don't care about that because we've talked about that enough. Oh. Well, we're going to take a little trip into schools. not necessarily a trip that we want to take, because a piece of shit pedo should be going to jail, hopefully.
Right now at 5, the former Louisville school teacher accused of photoshopping students' photos onto other images of child porn is now pleading guilty.
But while Jordan Fouts is admitting to the crimes, he's not exactly happy with the sentence that the U.S. government is suggesting. Ward Jollis has the very latest in this breaking news alert.
Yeah, Myra, John Fouts is now pleading guilty to 7 separate child sex crimes, including possession and distribution of child pornography. But the actual...
Let me get your link, dude. I don't know if I have it.
Negotiation phase. Let me explain. Fouts was a religion teacher
and worked maintenance
at St. Stephen Martyr School in Louisville. By pleading guilty, he is now admitting
drop your link, Roots.
Students' yearbook photos and pasting them onto adult and child porn images while he was working at the school.
That's gross.
Some of the victims were under 12 years old. Well, there is one thing, though, that Fouts is still contesting, and that is the sentencing part of this agreement. The government is recommending a sentence of about 20 years. His attorneys say that's too much, though, and they're still working with prosecutors right now to come to a different sentencing term. Fouts and his attorneys will have until March 19th to do this, to renegotiate the terms of this plea. If they don't, then this guilty plea is pretty much out the window and we're headed to trial. But if his attorneys and federal prosecutors
What's up, Veronica?
to an agreement, Fouts is most certainly headed to prison. For how long, we don't know, but he'll have to serve his entire sentence because there is no...
Yo, imagine that. Like, your kids are in the yearbook. Some fucking disgusting teacher takes their face, right, and superimposes it on nudity, images of nudity. If that was one of my kids, I would probably smash that dude's face in. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. I do have a get out of jail free card, so that's... Huh. All right. Now that we got that little fucker out of the way, let's move on to the next. Which one is this? Oh, this one is actually a pretty good video. At first when I saw this, I was like, oh my God, it's fucking kids fucking shit up again. And then you listen to the kids, and it shocked me. Shouldn't judge a book by its cover only because the media tells you what to do, right?
Yeah, I'll put in a snow.
We can't answer the door right now, but if you'd like to leave a message, you can do it now.
Your outlet was on fire.
Hi, man. We just was walking by and your outlet was on fire. We put it out and unplugged it. We just trying to get your attention, let you know your outlet caught on fire.
And it burnt up your sidewalk and everything.
Yeah, so we just unplugged it, make sure everything's okay. We gonna unplug this one too to make sure everything good.
Yeah, I just unplugged it from the wall.
Yeah, you have a good day and hope everything okay.
Isn't that cool? They were walking by and saw that the fucking fire or the Christmas decorations were on fire and made sure to put it out and unplug it. That's pretty genius. That's pretty good. Need more kids like that. If they are kids. It could be young adults. All right, so this is a what if. What if they were telling the truth in the press briefs about these drones? This guy gets it. Rand Paul gets it. I get it. Let's see if you guys get it.
Karen, go ahead.
A couple questions about drones. There have been repeated drone sightings in the Northeast, especially in New Jersey. These are not small drones, some of them pretty large. Has the president been briefed on this situation?
Yes, the president has been briefed.
What's up, lady?
As you guys all know, I mean, it's no secret. He has no idea who he is or where he is at any given point of the day. Yesterday, he was walking around the White House in his underwear, cussing at staff. He actually called Jill a bitch because he completely forgot who she was, and she was trying to take off his underwear for tubby time. So, yeah.
When was the president briefed on that?
Very early, because we don't like to interfere with his nap time, which is actually right now, 10:30 a.m. But to answer your question about the drones, they're ours. It's a PSYOP. We're trying to distract the public, scare them a little bit because we have so much stuff going on. It's like the shiny ball. Oh, look over here. But we got this going on. You know what I mean? We're still trying to take out Trump. I can't get into details with that. You know, the Syria situation. We got everything. All the pardons that Joe Biden's doing. I think he's up to 65. And the main one being Hunter, you know, with the big guy in China, all that stuff. But speaking of Hunter, I got to run. He's actually coming for lunch. We're going to do a couple of Tootskis before we eat. But and just FYI, I have never really addressed this. The cocaine that was left in the White House, it was mine, but Hunter did give it to me, so technically it was his. And hey, look at that. Speak of the devil and he shall appear. Ladies and gentlemen, Hunter Biden, the cocaine cowboy in the flesh. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Is that a new gun? Holy shit, you little rascal.
Gotta love vets. Not veterinarians. Yo, okay. I'm not going to go through all the pages on this, but this is the bill they put up yesterday that they want to vote in tomorrow. Oops, wrong one. Look at this bitch. It's 1,547 pages long. Dude, it gets boring. It gets real fucking boring. No wonder they throw this shit on their desk in the middle of the night. Oh, hold on. Can I play it, Roots? All right, Root, let's do this. I gotta make it look like a reaction video. All right, let's get this.
I woke up mortified, clutching on my 45. I see your sickness as it flickers in my daughter's eyes. This fucking nightmare was pre-planned and quarter plot. I fortified my fate on a burning Bible, swore to God. From the depths of the deepest of depressions, it's evil in the flesh is what I see in this reflection. The demons get to speaking through the beat with their intentions, using me to plant the seed. And greed is the infection, deep in you, it's eating through your reasoning and beating you. Evil do till you're banking greenery like Hebrews. If Tweedle see it, Tweedle do. You won't believe the truth. Between me and you, it's probably the Jews. Nah, it's definitely Jews. You think they run the media and government, they definitely do. Look, I'm not a pessimistic fool. I'm just really mindful of the bullshit, cause I'm stepping in it too. If you ever feel that your life is but a dream, and the world around you really isn't what it seems, I don't really know and I can't tell you what it means, but you need to unplug and step away from the screen. If you ever feel that your life is but a dream, and the world around you really isn't what it seems, I don't really know and I can't tell you what it means, but you need to unplug and step away from the screen. Everything's perverted, culture been subverted. Yo, this firmament's a burning is a perfect way to word it. They tell me I should curb it, nah, my lesson learned it. This was murder in the first before you nerds had heard the verdict. Man, everywhere I'm looking it's the same shit, dividing us by differences and isms is rearranging the language. Most of y'all ain't smart enough to question or debate this. You're perpetually teenage bitch made waiting for page clicks. Take this, run with it, finally having fun with it. I had the fucking money and I bought my fucking guns with it. I'm saying fuck it for the fuck of it. I'm on some other shit like ducking and butt fucking the government. What's up, you coming with your shoe free? Ain't got a body on these weapons, but I'm after one like 2, 3. You didn't know, I'll introduce me. My name is Roots and I believe we should expose them in the truth's key. If you ever feel that your life is but a dream, and the world around you really isn't what it seems, I don't really can't tell you what it means, but you need to unplug and step away from the screen. If you ever feel that your life is but a dream, and the world around you really isn't what it seems, I don't really know and I can't tell you what it means, but you need to unplug and step away from the screen. 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 Step away from the screen.
Bruh. Damn, bro. %100% support that. That was amazing. Those words, man. Those bars. I like them. I like them. Good job, Roots. Always a banger. All right. So let's get back to... So this is Rand Paul, and this is I kind of like about all of it. I'll double check most of it. Some more out. The Speaker of the House needs to not be a member of Congress. This was brought up before when they were talking about making Donald Trump the Speaker of the House, as well as a few other people. Rand Paul brings up a good point. Nothing would disrupt the swamp more than making Elon the Speaker of the House. Do you know what would fucking happen? Bullshit bills would disappear. That's what I'm fucking talking about. That's why I like Rand Paul. It's why I voted for him. That was it. All right, let me switch back to YouTube. And let's see where we're going to go. All right. So this next one, I hate being skeptical about shit like this because, well, I want to imagine that, like, yeah, this really did happen. I don't think these bones are real. If you're 1,500 fucking years old, if you lived 1,500 fucking years ago, how the fuck are your bones found cutting grass? This just doesn't make sense to me. And I'm sorry. Not sorry, though.
A man here in Scotchtown was mowing his lawn when he spotted 2 teeth sticking up from the ground. It didn't take long for him to realize there was something special and rare hiding in the ground.
This is the part of the tooth that was coming out of the ground.
A backyard in Orange County turned into an archaeological dig after a homeowner called in a team of researchers to find out what was lurking beneath his property.
That's a lucky neighbor.
Congratulations, Ruth.
That's pretty cool.
It turns out those teeth poking from the ground were part of this mastodon jaw, believed to be 13,000 years old.
We knew we had something pretty exciting.
Dr. Robert Farinack is the paleontologist with the New York State Museum who helped unearth the fossil in remarkable condition.
Mastodons were our elephant relatives that lived during the ice ages here in New York.
But it wasn't just the...
So was the ice ages actually 1,500 years ago? Or were they a couple thousand years ago?
Mastodon jaw that they dug up.
We also found this piece of toe. Then over here is a piece of rib.
The fossil is now in Albany as Dr. Farinack works to wipe away all the dirt from the jaw and glue the bones back together, a meticulous process that will take months.
It is just like a 3D puzzle. I try and find pieces that match up.
It turns out mastodon bones are hiding all over Orange County, accounting for 1/3 of all fossils found in the state. It's enough to inspire 4-year-old Alex to start digging.
I'll try to dig some to find some like a treasure.
Dr. Farinack is hopeful that the backyard in Scotchtown will yield more fossils as he works to preserve this prehistoric wonder.
I want people 200 years from now to also be able to experience this jaw.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated.
I don't know, man. I have a hard time believing that something that's 14,000 years old can be found cutting your grass in the backyard. I've cut my grass plenty of times, to include the grass that's about this tall. And I still haven't found any dinosaur bones. Somebody dropped an F-bomb. Lady J. Lady J. Have you heard me talk? Oh, it's been a while. So, yeah. All right. So, this I thought would be very important because it's almost like a little bit of history. And I don't like this. But this is a brief look back at the Patriot Act, which was passed after 9/11, and it was the biggest surveillance of the United States of America ever, and it's still going on. Don't let them believe you. All right? They may have changed the name to the FISA courts, but look, this is what they did, and this is why I don't like the drones.
After the terrorist attacks on September 11, 2001, the federal government had an almost immediate reflex action in order to prevent another such occurrence. This was not unusual, as throughout American history, laws have been passed that were ostensibly to provide security, but eventually became too intrusive and often labeled unconstitutional. The other side of the argument is that certain laws were required to increase national security and protect American citizens, and were therefore necessary depending upon the circumstances. We will discuss both arguments here. What is the Patriot Act? Why was it created? Why do some people support it while others condemn it? Has the Patriot Act been a positive or a negative law?
Negative.
Has it been effective? Hello, I'm Colin Heaton, military veteran, historian, author, and welcome to this episode of Forgotten History.
Surveillance, trying to get foreign entities. You know, our federal agencies can only deal with anything that's in this country. Right? So don't let them believe you, oh, we're listening to foreign entities overseas. They only listen to it when it's in this country. They don't track it incoming.
Today, we still live with the Patriot Act, although in a different version from when it first became law. It followed in the tradition of previous security measures, which became laws for better or worse. For example, by 1802, the laws were repealed.
I can say, along with Roots, I've been to that bean. Don't know why, I've been there. And I didn't like Chicago. Trump Tower's there, though. I did go visit that.
Has the Patriot Act been a positive or a negative law? Has it been effective? Hello, I'm Colin Heaton, military veteran.
Heaton reminds me of one of my college professors.
Today, we still live with the Patriot Act, although in a different version from when it first became law. It followed in the tradition of previous security measures, which became laws for better or worse. For example, the alien...
I don't know if you noticed, Roots. I don't know if you noticed, but I definitely reacted to that part.
Sedition Acts were a series of 4 laws passed by the Federalist majority in Congress in 1798 under President John Adams due to fears of a war with France. There was also the concern of foreign spies in the country, so Adams signed it into law on July 14, 1798. It was set to expire on March 3, 1801, the last day of his term in office. Over time, these laws changed, but they still remain in effect, restricting foreign nationals and limiting freedom of the press, especially regarding published information that caused discomfort to the president or other senior officials, which was and still is a serious First Amendment issue. One part of the law, the Naturalization Act, increased residency requirements for U.S. citizenship regarding foreigners from 5 years up to 14 years. This was done as a matter of preventing new immigrants from voting after becoming citizens because They favored the Democratic Republicans in their majority, so the Federalists wanted to exclude them from voting. Under the Alien Enemies Act, the government could arrest and deport all male citizens of an enemy nation in the event of war, while the
Can we still do that?
Alien Friends Act allowed the president to deport any non-citizen suspected of plotting against the government, even in peacetime. However, the most important part of the law was the Sedition Act, which targeted anyone who spoke out against the president or the Federalist-dominated government under Adams at that time. Essentially, the law made it a crime to state or publish any false, scandalous, and malicious writing against Congress or the president, and made it illegal to conspire to oppose any measure or measures of the government. Of course, the government decided what was false and what was scandalous, much like the Biden administration today with their censorship. James Madison and Thomas Jefferson were both critics, and they argued that the government had no legal authority to enact laws not specified in the Constitution. Jefferson wrote, "The several states who formed that instrument, the Constitution, being sovereign and independent, had the unquestionable right to judge of its infraction, and that a nullification by those states of all unauthorized acts is the rightful remedy." By 1802, the laws were repealed or expired, except for the Alien Enemies Act, which is still law today, and in 1918, Congress amended that law to include women. The Alien Enemies Act was invoked by Franklin Roosevelt during World War II to incarcerate Japanese Americans into internment camps. The Patriot Act would be the successor of these earlier laws. Prior to the 9/11 attacks, Congress focused on legislation to prevent international terrorism. But after the February 26, 1993 World Trade Center bombing and the April 1995 Oklahoma City bombing, domestic terrorism gained more attention. As a result of these events, on April 24, 1996, President Bill Clinton signed the Anti-Terrorism and Effective Death Penalty Act of 1996 to assist law enforcement in identifying and prosecuting domestic and international terrorists. But Clinton asked Congress to give law enforcement expanded wiretap authority and increase access to the records of citizens in terrorism cases. Congress refused, mainly because many felt loosening surveillance and records rules was unconstitutional. After 9/11, congressional leaders worried about their re-election approached U.S. Attorney General John Ashcroft to push for a stronger law. Therefore, the Department of Justice proposed a new law that expanded the application of investigative tools already being used against drug dealers and organized crime. The Patriot Act was proposed and passed in Congress with bipartisan support and signed into law by President George W. Bush on October 26, 2001, just weeks after the September 11 terrorist attacks against the United States, and it is more than 300 pages long. Officially called the Uniting and Strengthening America by providing appropriate tools required to intercept and obstruct terrorism, the Patriot Act was intended to improve the abilities of U.S. law enforcement to detect and deter terrorism. The act was intended to improve homeland security by allowing law enforcement to use surveillance and wiretapping to investigate terror-related crimes. Also, to allow federal agents to request court permission to use roving wiretaps to track a specific terrorist suspect, and also allow for delayed notification search warrants to prevent a terrorist suspect from learning they were a target of an investigation. It also allowed federal agents to seek federal court permissions to obtain bank and business records to aid investigations and prevent money laundering for terrorism financing. It was also meant to improve information and intelligence sharing methods and cooperation between government agencies. It also increased tougher penalties for convicted terrorists and those who assisted them.
Hey Gitmo, how you doing?
And allowed search warrants to be obtained in any...
Yo, you know they had a 1-year assignment for me? Back up, down. That would have had me at Gitmo as one of the medical providers. Didn't want to take it. I don't feel like getting spit on by some Arab because I might punch him back. Sorry, that was just the old me. That guy was a fucking asshole.
Any district or in any state where terror-related activity occurred, no matter where the warrant was executed or in which jurisdiction the so-called activity took place. It also ended the statute of limitations for certain terror-related crimes, essentially making all situations a federal responsibility instead of a state issue. Greater restrictions on aliens involved or even suspected of terrorist activities to enter the United States was invoked. It also provided aid to victims of terrorism and public safety officers involved or injured while investigating or preventing terrorism
What's up,
or responding
Southwest?
to terrorist attacks.
I thought you were changing your name.
In 2004, during his testimony before the United States Senate Committee on the Judiciary, FBI Director Robert Mueller said, "The Patriot Act has proved extraordinarily beneficial in the war on terrorism and has changed the way the FBI does business. Many of our counterterrorism successes, in fact, are the direct results of provisions included in the Act." Mueller also stated that without the provisions in the Act, the FBI could be forced back into pre-September 11 practices attempting to fight the war on terrorism with one hand tied behind our backs. Many of the Patriot Act's requirements were to expire in 2005, and renewing the law was passionately argued in the U.S. House of Representatives and the Senate. Although there were legitimate constitutional civil liberties and privacy concerns,
I got you.
President Bush signed the USA Patriot and Terrorism Reauthorization Act on March 9, 2006. Although the Patriot Act was revised in 2015 to the constitutional rights of ordinary Americans, some provisions of the law remain controversial. One of those controversies is whether or not it was effective. One example was, under the previously existing wiretap laws, if a suspected criminal was under legal wiretap and his conversations recorded, the agents listening in had to turn off the recording if the conversation was with a party not under investigation. Such as, for example, if mob boss John Gotti was calling to order a pizza, the person on the other end could not be recorded to protect their privacy. Under the new law, the entire conversation could be recorded to assist in the investigation. It was also argued that a situation such as this also placed the innocent party into the investigation without their knowledge, which could also have them wiretapped and surveilled even though they were not conducting any criminal activity.
Any more drone sightings, Larp?
A Washington Post article from 2015 stated that the Justice Department admitted FBI agents can't point to any major terrorism cases they've cracked, thanks to the key snooping powers in the Patriot Act. However, another 2012 report from the Heritage Foundation stated that 50 terrorist attacks have been thwarted since 9/11, with 47 being the direct result of the work of law enforcement and intelligence agencies. This argument claimed that the Patriot Act was critical in helping law enforcement identify leads, surveil and wiretap suspects, examine records, and prevent attacks. In fact, there have been many cases of law enforcement and intelligence agencies preventing attacks. The most vehement criticism of the Patriot Act by civil rights groups claim that it violates Americans' constitutional rights, allowing the government to spy on them without due process, search their homes without consent, and increase the risk of
because they're going to address, not in this clip, but later on I'm going to address the drones and this omnibus bill. You realize when they said after 9/11, within really quick that they put in the Patriot Act provisions in place. And when I was talking about drones the other day, I was saying that, listen, this could be just another mass surveillance type technology deal. I'm not the only one.
Ordinary citizens being accused of crimes without just cause. The federal government asserts the Patriot Act has safeguards to protect the rights of American citizens, which is questionable, as some parts of the law were found illegal by
they can literally track if you get more than $600.
For example, in 2015, the United States Court of Appeals for the Second Circuit found Section 215 of the Patriot Act could not be used to validate the bulk collection of Americans' phone records. President Barack Obama signed the USA Freedom Act into law on June 2, 2015, in order to help prevent the Patriot Act from infringing on American civil liberties. This terminated the bulk collection of all records under Section 215 of the Patriot Act and allowed challenges to national security letter gag orders. It also required better transparency and more information sharing between the United States Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court, better known as FISA, and the American people.
Sound familiar?
The revision
What's up,
under
Dragonfly? How
Obama
you
allows
doing?
the government to track suspected foreign terrorists for 72 hours after they enter the United States and increases required maximum penalties for anyone providing support to specific foreign terrorist organizations. It also allows limited use of bulk data collection under Section 215 in an emergency, but critics believe it doesn't go far enough. The benefits of the Patriot Act and the USA Freedom Act regarding national security will continue to be debated against the potential intrusion on Americans' privacy and their civil rights. Yet, supporters of the Patriot Act may have a case, and here's why. On May 1, 2010, a terrorist attack was attempted in Times Square in Manhattan, New York. 2 street vendors alerted NYPD after they spotted smoke coming from a vehicle, and a car bomb was discovered. The bomb had been ignited but failed to explode and was disarmed before it caused any casualties.
How did the
Federal
Patriot
agents
Act
then
prevent
arrested
that?
Faisal Shahzad, a 30-year-old Pakistan-born resident of Bridgeport, Connecticut, who obtained U.S. citizenship in April 2009. He was already a target of investigation and was arrested after he had boarded Emirates Flight 202 to Dubai at John F. Kennedy International Airport. After his arrest, he admitted to the attempted car bombing and that he had trained at a Pakistani terrorist training camp. Many suspected and even known terrorists have been apprehended either attempting to enter the country or already being here due to the intelligence gathered, afforded by the Patriot Act and the FISA Court. Still, the critics also have a valid concern that even the innocent can be drawn into the investigations, often arrested, even charged. Another detractor to the federal government having too much power, such as the abuse of the FISA Court by FBI Director James Comey and others in the Justice Department when they submitted fraudulent and falsified evidence to spy on U.S. citizens, not just foreigners, and therefore committing perjury on their sworn affidavits targeting Republican political officials. So in conclusion, the Patriot Act still exists, although a shadow of its former self. But we still have to be wary of government abuses, as are highly illustrated in the lawfare used against Donald Trump and other Republicans by the Democrat-run Justice Department and FBI. So take it for what it's worth and come to your own conclusions.
Hey, that's what I say. All right, so we're going to listen to a bunch of... Actually, not a bunch. I think there's 3. Give me 2 seconds to look it up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Got 4 videos before we get to the one that I actually want to show with Rand Paul. And these are lawmakers responding to this omnibus.
Congressional leaders unveiled a 1,500-plus page continuing resolution bill to keep government funded through March 15th next year. It includes more than $100 billion in funding for disaster relief and $10 billion in aid for farmers. It also reauthorizes and extends the government's unmanned aircraft systems program. Many Republican lawmakers are slamming what they're calling Christmas tree ornaments in the bill, including duty-free Haitian apparel imports and lithium-ion battery legislation. It also moves the jurisdiction of RFK Stadium back to Washington, D.C., adds $50 million in inauguration expenses, allows E15 ethanol to be sold year-round, and includes 500 pages of health provisions. Joining me now is Georgia Congressman Andrew Clyde, a member of the House Appropriations Committee. Congressman, good to see you. What strikes you about this bill?
Good morning, Maria. Well, I'll tell you, the most egregious thing about this bill is you've got at least $110 billion, perhaps up to $125 billion, that is not paid for, that is unpaid for. That's more borrowing to our national debt. And that's just not what the country told the president and told Congress when they gave the president a mandate every swing state he took the popular vote, and the entire focus of the country was control spending in Washington, D.C., and this bill does the exact opposite to that. This is not following the theory of government efficiency.
So what can you do about it?
Far from it.
Well, we can certainly vote against it, and I will be voting no on this bill from what I have seen so far. But we simply need to tell the American people that they need to get a hold of their members of Congress and say, this is not acceptable. This is not why we gave you the majority in the House, the Senate, and sent President Trump back to the White House.
But you don't want to have a government shutdown just a few weeks before President Trump comes in, right?
Well, we don't have to if we don't want to. We could send an actual clean CR for 3 months and not this Christmas.
Yeah, that clean CR is what Mike Johnson's trying to do now. After he pretty much got called out for trying to push that other one through. I bet you. It makes me wonder if he had his own pet projects in there.
I mean, where you've got everything from RFK Stadium and ticket sales to, everything that you mentioned there, E15, everything. This is truly a Christmas tree omnibus.
Wow. Let me get your take on the future, because the plan now is to do 2 reconciliation packages in 2025 as opposed to, again, another big omnibus plan where you would tackle taxes as well as
remember, these are the
border.
same guys that, not the Republicans. These guys want a pay raise from $174,000 to $249,000 because they haven't gotten a pay raise since 2009. I think if you work for the federal government, especially if you're elected, you should get paid the same thing that an enlisted service member in the U.S. military gets. So you can see why we deserved the pay raise more than you guys. But it's okay. College educated, well off, probably insider trading. Pelosi.
Where are you on that debate?
Well, I think the first budget reconciliation should be a smaller one and be focused on the border, because that's the #1 issue that we have right now, and that is security of our southern border. And that is so critically important, and I think the first budget reconciliation will deal with that and give the president an immediate win.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that, and you all want to have a win on the board right out of the gate, but is there a risk that the second reconciliation plan doesn't get done, and then you don't actually extend the tax cuts? Newt Gingrich said you need to commit to actually getting this signed into law by July 4th, and he's not sure you can do that. Here's what he told us this week right here on Mornings with Maria. Watch.
They need to have the Senate commitment to pass the tax bill by May 31st, to go to conference in June, and to sign the bill by July 4th. Reagan talked into having his tax cuts
That
arrive
motherfucker's a
late.
war hawk. He wants more money.
Congress is getting ready to vote on a brand new 1,500-page spending bill. They have to read it and vote on it by Friday. Doge hates it. Here's Elon Musk just moments ago. He posted this on X, and he says, any member of the House or Senate that votes for this outrageous spending bill deserves to be voted out of office. Let's ask Florida Congressman Greg Steube, who is a member of the House Ways and Means Committee, for a reaction. Congressman Steube, great to see you this afternoon. Let's get your thoughts. What do you think about Elon Musk's post about getting voted out of office if you vote for the CR bill? And also, how will you vote on the CR bill?
I couldn't agree with him more. I've never voted for a CR.
I don't know if this was true, but they are getting a pay raise, and the persons getting the biggest pay raise are actually lower enlisted, up to 12%. I have to go double check that. They're getting a 12% raise, while everyone else in the military is getting close to a 2.5, which is normal.
I'm not going to start today. 43 days ago, the American people gave us a mandate. They gave us the United States Senate. They gave us the House majority again in the House. And they gave Donald Trump the presidency. Why in the world, days before we swear in on January 3rd, are we going to work with all the Democrats to pass all of this pork? I mean, we're doing things like health care. We're giving a stadium away. We're doing all of these things completely unrelated to funding the government. And we're funding the government at Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi spending levels. Why would we do that? It goes against everything that we just got a mandate from the American people to do. The American people want us to cut spending, reduce the debt, and reduce the deficits.
Yeah. Congressman, many people agree with you.
Sitting members of Congress and their immediate families should not be trading stocks. I mean, in my opinion, because that creates corruption.
They would say, play the game of chicken. Even if there's a shutdown, we'll wait till Donald Trump comes into office and we'll figure this out. But the reality of a government shutdown is a little bit more difficult to digest. Ultimately, why isn't there a way to pass a CR that cuts some of the pork?
Well, I don't agree with that. I would shut the government down today. I'd have shut it down a year ago. We have a speaker who a year ago told us CRs are not the way to govern. He committed to the conference that we weren't going to govern through CRs anymore, and 4 CRs later, here we are eating another CR as a conference. So I mean, especially right now. So if the government shuts down on December 17th, it's during the holidays. 2 weeks later, January 3rd, you have a Republican Senate and a Republican House. You can pass Limit, Save, Grow that every Republican in this conference voted for, that cuts spending, that goes after some of the waste, fraud, and abuse. Do that for a year to give the appropriators time to do a conservative budget. I don't know. I don't understand why we're not looking at those type of things. I'm not afraid of a government shutdown. I don't think the Republicans should be, and the Democrats know that our leadership is afraid of a shutdown, which is why they stick us with all these Democratic issues that are in this bill.
But just real quick, then, what's Johnson's agenda here? Why is he doing it?
Great question. You should ask him. He hasn't been real forthcoming with the conference. I mean, a day ago it was we were going to do a rule. On Friday when we left, we'd get the language on Saturday. Saturday goes by. Sunday goes by. Monday goes by. We got the language last night, and now they're saying we might vote on this as a suspension this afternoon, less than 24 hours before 1,580 pages were laid on our desk. That is not what the American people hired us and elected us to do, to vote on a 1,500-page bill less than 24 hours
without reading it.
Desk.
Congressman Vivek Ramaswamy tweeted and said he's read all 1,500 pages, which I don't know how he could do that. I could never read that fast. Apparently he has.
He likes to read. He said that.
But you know what he said? He said this thing could be 20 pages if you were just going to do the things to keep the government open. But it crams all sorts of things that are unrelated to funding the government. Now, I can't read 1,500 pages, but I bet you could write 20 pages in like 24 hours. Can't somebody write the 20 pages that he's talking about and do that bill instead of the 1,500-page monstrosity that is trying to be crammed through right now?
Yeah, we could, but our speaker is going to the Democrats to cut a deal with Democrats and not talking to certainly conservative Republicans in the conference that would do just that. Instead, we're giving trade relations, like trade issues with Haiti are in the CR where that country.
Pretty sure the government shut down when I was in Iraq for a little bit.
Country isn't even run by a viable government right now. There's no democracy there. There's so many different. There's healthcare related issues in the bill. We're going to pay off the bridge in Baltimore that was taken out.
That was one of the things. Why the fuck are we still paying for that bridge in Baltimore if the insurance company for that barge company is supposed to pay for it all? And not to mention that we already allocated funds when it first happened, right, Joe?
We're going to pay off the bridge in Baltimore that was taken out by a private entity that should be having to pay for that out of their insurance. There's all these Democratic priorities in this bill, and that is not what the American people gave us an agenda to do just 43 short days ago.
So, Congressman Steube, it sounds like you want to start off 2025 with a clean slate, and there's certainly a lot to get done. I mean, we're talking about Trump tax reforms, we're talking about border, we're talking about energy. Are you in favor of doing that all at once, one reconciliation, or do you think it needs to be broken out into two?
I personally think it would be easier to do the process of a reconciliation bill with one bill that has all of President Trump's priorities in it. You have to go through a huge process. The Budget Committee has to pass a budget resolution. Then you go into reconciliation. It has to lay all of that out. It takes forever for the Senate to go through their procedural hurdles to get things done. I think you're running the risk if you do two reconciliation bills, that'll be later in this year before you're getting to the tax package, and the American people aren't going to feel the effects of that until later into 2026. So I certainly think we should do everything that President Trump ran on, all of his priorities in one reconciliation package, get it done in the first quarter of next year so the American people can see that the Republican majority in the House and Senate are doing exactly what they asked us to do.
That'll be surprising to see politicians actually politicianing. Do I think it's going to get resolved? Probably not. In one bill? Nah. If it does get passed before the end of the year, there's going to be a lot of disappointing compromises for the American people, in my opinion.
Elon Musk says the 1,547-page continuing resolution to keep the government running should not pass. Now listen to what Speaker Johnson had to say about that.
I was communicating with Elon last night. He said, we understand you're in an impossible position. Everybody knows that. Remember, guys, we still have just a razor-thin margin of Republicans. So any bill has...
Yo, it's crazy to see the Dow 43,000. I remember in high school, I think I was in economics, and we were watching it as it broke 10,000 because that was the first time in history it broke 10,000. Fuck, I'm old.
In the situation, they said, it's not directed to you, Mr. Speaker, but we don't like the spending.
Come on in, member of the House Financial Services Committee, Byron Donalds. Congressman, this bill will fund much of what DOGE is looking to cut. What's going on?
Unfortunately, this is what happens in the lame duck here on Capitol Hill. Listen, there was a historic election, a mandate given to President Trump. People want government efficiencies. They want lower spending. But the swamp and, frankly, congressional Democrats want what they want, and it was that or farmers suffer. And it's a very unfortunate bill. Listen, what we have here is a bill that puts disaster recovery for a state like mine of Florida and many other states, and that was held hostage to get EV mandates and all this other stuff through this package. Personally, as a member, I have to vote no because I'm not voting for this kind of garbage. This is a bad bill. It should not pass. Elon Musk is correct. A lot of my colleagues are correct. In my view, we should go back to the drawing board immediately. Disaster recovery should move on its own. And when it comes to the other functions of government, it should be a slim deal until Donald Trump comes back.
Then if you vote no, if it goes down to defeat amongst Republicans, then you're going to have Democrats to pass it and keep the government going. That is likely to happen. How do you feel about that?
That's something I just simply don't like, but I would say that's up to the members of my conference of Republicans, because there was a mandate delivered in this election, and it was not for business as usual. It was actually to trim spending, to cut spending as it needs to be cut, to have the government be more efficient, to not fund or do extensions to institutions that have been suppressing free speech, that is, frankly, are now being sued by conservative media groups for suppressing free speech. The election was clear. The mandate is decisive. So it is incumbent upon us, if it means we have to come back after Christmas to clean this up, then that's what needs to happen. But doing this before Christmas is not the answer.
But do you think this is what Donald Trump wants? I mean, he's about to get into the Oval Office on January the 20th. Does he want a government shutdown and this big fight over what's spending and what's not being spent right before he assumes the Oval Office?
No, listen, honestly, I think with President Trump, he's focused on his presidency, which starts on January 20th. What this is cleaning up the last days of the worst administration we have ever seen with Joe Biden. And that's why my position for months has been we shouldn't even be negotiating with Joe Biden. We all know he's not running the country right now. Let's be perfectly honest. We should not even be negotiating with him.
What if Congress got paid by the bills they passed? That would be interesting. You get paid a bonus if your bill passes through a House or the Senate. And you get an even bigger bonus if it becomes law. And by bonus, I mean like $4,000 or $5,000. You're only making $66,000 a year, as you should be. And that's how you get your job done. The way that people say, hey, Juniper, how are you?
We should be figuring out what is passable going forward, and that is all. No more, no less. And the most tragic thing is that you have family farms and areas that have been ravaged with natural disaster are being used as pawns to get through the same Christmas omnibus that not just members here hate, but the American people despise. That's the frustration that
Those omnibuses are fucking stupid, man. I don't see how our government officials... Actually, I could, because it funds their fucking stupid pet projects. But they're not even transparent about it. I want to find out who put those pet projects in there so we can hold them accountable. That's how you lose votes. When people know what you're actually putting up. All right.
They were talking about the spending bill as being a Christmas tree.
Majority.
This is why I like Rand Paul. Rand Paul's all about fiscal, conservative spending money the right way, limited government, and not First Amendment, the Constitution, right?
Majority Leader.
And this is why I don't like the drones.
My friend Senator Peters will
because one, that drone surveillance thing, it's in this bill.
Offer an amendment
omnibus
that responds to the reports of unusual drone activity, and I thank him for his
remember
great work and
9/11
leadership on this. I'm proud to be a co-sponsor of this bipartisan drone legislation, which the FBI, the DHS, the FAA, and the DoD, the Department of Defense, all support.
Of course they do. It's more money for them.
Pass our bill without delay. Our bill, among other things, explicitly authorizes state and local...
More money from the federal government to combat the drones while at the same time they're spying on us.
Authorities to conduct drone detection and helps them better coordinate with federal law enforcement agencies to keep communities safe. The people in New York and New Jersey have a lot of questions, and they're not getting good enough answers. The utter confusion surrounding these drone sightings shows that the feds can't respond all on their own.
Not to mention, like, you hear the reports, especially in Jersey, more and more drones are showing up over more and more. Yes, motherfucker, because it's on TV and everybody and their brother's like, I have a drone. Let me put this shit up in the air.
Protecting these drones from local officials who have neither the resources nor the explicit authority to act, and the bill fixes that.
They need more money.
We all know drones are a relatively new phenomena, and there are millions of them all over the United States. A lot of them are hobbyists, some of them are companies doing legitimate work.
Right.
But the federal government just doesn't have the ability or resources. If we were to say the federal government should look at this completely, they'd be taken away from so many other important jobs.
So you're asking for more money.
The most logical thing to do is say, let the localities have some authority. These are law enforcement.
Wait, did he say he's taking away jobs?
They'd be taken away from so many other important jobs. So the most logical thing to do is say, let the localities have some authority. These are law enforcement authorities. These are people we know and we trust.
Listen, we don't want you to arrest illegal aliens, but we need you to find these drones. All right? We need more money to combat these drones.
Now, for all we know, the bill, for all we know, the recent drone incidents are entirely...
Isn't Chuck a dirty Jew?
But the people of New York and New Jersey understandably still have questions, and they deserve answers. The problem is the widespread use of drones is relatively new in the eyes of federal law, and therefore the authority to detect drone activity near sensitive infrastructure is totally in federal jurisdiction. And that should be fixed in an appropriate way. The federal government just doesn't have the ability to go in every corner of America and see whether the drones are safe or not safe.
More money,
Local
guys.
Law enforcement is appropriate, and they will work.
Guys, what we need is more money to put in our pockets. I mean, continue the defense of this country. Well, at the same time, We're totally just going after the drones, guys. We're totally just going after the drones. By the way, we're listening to you talk to somebody on the phone right as we speak. I know what you're saying. I can hear you.
In working on this, the bill is about giving local officials on the ground greater flexibility and proven technology to detect and track threats in their jurisdictions. It's about giving people answers they don't now have, heard directly from authorities on the ground. If this bill becomes law, we will have better clarity in the future. So I yield to my friend from Michigan, who's worked hard on this issue for a long period of time. It has broad bipartisan support. I hope the Senate can act. I yield.
Madam President.
Senator from Michigan.
Madam President, every day, more and more Americans are using drones, from everything from hobby flights,
hello, Democrat,
commercial applications, as well as law enforcement activities. Drones can offer important societal and economic benefits.
Okay.
They can also cause problems if they are not used appropriately.
Right.
Recently in New Jersey, we've seen reports of loud and menacing drones. And while the Department of Homeland Security, the FBI,
yes,
and other...
I think I don't know if that's more for the rural. I know suburban and urban areas for sure because of the, Well, thank you, Dominique. Thank you. Thank you. How are you doing as well, ma'am?
Key agencies have assured the public that these drones pose no immediate Homeland Security threat. They have certainly caused unease and concern for many Americans. Rogue drones can interfere with commercial air traffic, as we saw with the recent closure of runways at a New York airport, as well as large public gatherings like football games.
I needed his link.
The National Football League, a key supporter of this legislation, has shared that at recent seasons, they have seen more than 2,500 drones violate the airspace around stadiums, and in some cases leading to them stopping the football games to resolve potential threats to their fans as well as to their teams.
I don't think I've seen a football game
also
yet.
Seen how drones operate.
Yet shut down by a drone. Not yet. Even the one that I went to, there was no drones. There was no shutdown. Oh my God, I'm scared.
By a bad actor can quickly become a very serious security threat. This summer, an assailant used a drone to surveil President-elect Trump's rally site in Butler, Pennsylvania, just hours before firing shots in a horrific.
Because remember, they couldn't get the military, the law enforcement drones up in the air. Wow, there was issues. Yet, Butler, Pennsylvania guy had a drone. Did anybody see the drone? Anybody take pictures of that drone? How do we know there was a drone?
Assassination attempt. And that's why I've been working to pass bipartisan legislation that would address these concerns by giving law enforcement the tools and the authorities that they need to detect, to identify,
on the aliens, drones. Maybe 1 out of every 100 drones that a video seen, believe 1 out of 100, I actually see what I would consider something extraterrestrial.
To ensure that they do not pose any risk to Americans. My legislation, which passed out of the committee that I chair, Homeland Security and Government Affairs, passed unanimously last Congress, out of committee, would equip law enforcement agencies, including state and local police, like the officials currently dealing with the ongoing situation in New Jersey, with the tools to better detect and to track drones and identify cases where they may pose a security threat to large public gatherings, airports, critical infrastructure facilities, as well as our communities. Most urgently, this bill would ensure that law enforcement has the technology needed to quickly and clearly identify exactly what the reported sightings of drones across the country actually are. If a drone is found to be a potential danger, our law enforcement agencies, they must.
But how are they going to know?
To mitigate these threats effectively. And that's why my bill would allow the Department of Homeland Security and the Department of Justice
to operate. if they're around an area where there's, suburban area, and the law enforcement's like, you know what? Oh, we can just shoot it down, or we can do something that'll shut it down midair. That's a great idea. Sure it is. Sure it is. That drone's got to go somewhere.
A pilot program so that state and local law enforcement agencies can conduct drone mitigation activities to safely disable threatening drones before they cause serious harm. This legislation has strong bipartisan support here in the U.S. Senate. We currently have 28 co-sponsors from both sides of the aisle, 14 Democrats, 11 Republicans, and 3 independents. And as the number of registered drones continue to grow, so does the need to pass this critical legislation to ensure that our law enforcement agencies can address these potential threats.
So, hear me out. Are they going to have, registered, guns? An unregistered drone? Oh, no. Do you have to get a federal background check to get a drone?
So I urge my colleagues to join me in passing this common sense bill to safeguard our homeland and ensure that law enforcement can better protect our communities from the potential threats posed by recklessly or nefariously operated drones. So I ask unanimous consent that the Committee on Homeland Security and Government Affairs be discharged from further consideration of S. 1631, and the Senate proceed to its immediate consideration, that the Peters substitute amendment, which is at the desk, be considered and agreed to, and the bill as amended be considered read a third time and passed.
Wait
for it.
The
motion to reconsider be considered made and laid upon the table with no intervening action or debate.
Wait for it.
Is there an objection?
Madam President,
Senator from Kentucky.
reserving the right to object. No one disputes that drones flying in airspace could be a danger. The drones flying over the Super Bowl could be a danger. The drones flying over our military bases could be a danger. That's why it's illegal. It's currently illegal, and the federal government has the capacity to investigate and stop drones that are in airspace, over our military bases, following our ships. We have that capacity. But what is disputed,
Good point, Roots.
and what the Biden administration is currently telling us is they don't see a problem. So if there is a problem, let the Biden administration be forthcoming. Let us know the extent of the problem. Let us know who's flying the drones, and let us know what's going on. Instead, this bill says, well, we don't know. The Biden administration doesn't know, but why don't we give the power to the local officials to go after drones? But I rise today to object to this unanimous consent request because at the time, public trust in government is in historic lows. This body must not rush to grant sweeping surveillance powers without proper consideration and debate by the committees of jurisdiction, which is what I pledged to do beginning in January when we will be in charge of the committees. Yet what is going on is exactly what this legislation seeks to do now, is to expand federal authority to intercept communications and disrupt drone activity, powers that raise serious concerns for Americans' privacy, civil liberties, and Fourth Amendment protections against unwarranted search and seizure. We are being told this legislation is urgent, that it is needed to address an imminent drone threat, yet the government itself admits no such threat exists. So either there is a threat or there isn't a threat, but the Biden administration keeps saying, well, it's all normal stuff and it's just planes.
I'm just saying, if you guys remember my drone episode stream a couple days ago, remember how at the very end I came to the conclusion that it was going to be government surveillance? Told you so.
Is or it isn't. Why don't we try to get to the truth of the matter of what actually exists and what the threat is before we propose legislation? Federal agencies, including the Department of Homeland Security and the FBI, have stated clearly that there is no current national security risk, no public safety concern, and no unlawful drone activity requiring intervention. So there either is a problem or there isn't a problem. If there is a problem, let's discuss how to do it.
Check out the hook one with DJ Revolver.
Of innocent Americans whose their communications could be caught up in this legislation. until the assessment, the federal assessment changes. The assessment that it isn't a problem changes to that it is a problem, and these are the malefactors. These are the people that are orchestrating this. Let's get that from the Biden administration. Tell us what the problem is. Tell us the extent of the problem. Instead, the Biden administration is saying there's not a problem. So, Madam President, this pattern is all too familiar. History has shown us time and time again how fear and manufactured urgency are used as pretext to expand government power at the expense of freedom. After 9/11, Congress passed the Patriot Act in the name of security. Americans were promised that these surveillance powers were necessary. They would only be directed towards foreigners. They would only be directed towards terrorists until we discovered that these powers were being used on Americans. Americans were promised that these powers were necessary and temporary. Instead, they were abused, misused, and weaponized. Innocent Americans had their privacy violated, their data collected, and their rights trampled. The lesson here is clear. When Congress legislates in haste, without careful scrutiny, without debate, and without accountability, it is the American people who suffer the consequences. Today, we are facing a similar moment. The bill before us would grant law enforcement significant authority to intercept private electronic communications without consent. For example, the bill would allow the government to conduct dragnet surveillance of the phones innocent Americans traveling through U.S. airports as long as the government claims they are doing it to neutralize a drone. So in order to look at the information that might be coming to a drone, it may be that you capture all the information of everybody surrounding an airport or everybody who lives near an airport. Once you have all that data, what are the assurances that the government isn't looking at your data in addition to the data that may be related to flying the drone? This is not just about security. It's about unchecked government overreach. It's about capitalizing on fear and media-driven hysteria to jam through sweeping legislation that could violate the civil liberties of American people. Congress has a constitutional responsibility to serve as a check on the executive power, not as a rubber stamp for it. The federal government already has the power to deal with drones. The federal government already has the power to stop any drones that are in airspace around airports. The federal government already has the power to protect its air bases. So if there is a significant problem here, the Biden administration needs to come forward and let us know, who are these drones? Who's operating these drones? What is the federal government doing to protect either airports or bases from this? Instead, we are told...
Well, I have 2 airports within the base. 1 on base, 2 on base, 1 off base. So obviously there's a no-fly zone in that area.
By the Biden administration, there is no threat to our national security. So let's first insist on truth and transparency from the Biden administration before offering up legislation that is feel-good, pat somebody on the back and say, oh, we've done something about drones. We are strong on drones. Congress has a constitutional responsibility to serve as a check on executive power, not as a rubber stamp. We owe it to the American people to demand compelling justification, meaningful safeguards, and full transparency before granting any new surveillance authorities. We are a nation of laws, not fear, not panic, and not manufactured urgency. We do not trade away our freedoms, our privacy, and our constitutional protections for vague promises of security. I will object to this bill today.
You too, Veronica. Thanks for coming.
I am open to talking to the authors of this bill about how we could have enhanced ability to interrupt drone activity, but done while protecting all Americans' constitutional right to privacy. Madam President, I object.
Objection is heard.
My man.
Unknown.
So, I totally forgot I put this video in here. There's got to be a reason I put it in. So, there must be a reason I put it in. I don't remember. All right.
Unknown drones have been seen all across the skies of New Jersey, originally dismissed as just social media speculation, but were definitely unlike anything we've ever seen before, which wasn't too concerning until they saw an invasion of drones from the ocean.
One of their officers called 911 after seeing 50 of them come off the ocean.
Advised after we made contact
50,
with that
huh?
officer that there were 50 that came off the ocean.
50?
50. That was my
Dude,
reaction.
he counted
also.
so
There were
quick.
50
too.
that were coming off the ocean.
And this is a sworn officer.
Sworn officer, yes. We contacted state police, we contacted the FBI, we contacted the Coast Guard.
And even showing up at military bases.
Car-sized drones operating for hours in restricted airspace and able to elude local law enforcement when they send their own drones up to give chase.
But think about that. They're saying car-sized drones.
And able to
And the
elude local
police
law
drone
enforcement when they
isn't fucking big at all. It's maybe 3x3. Come on. Can't tell me those are just regular drones. They're the fucking government, and we know it. Mass hysteria. Just like the bird flu in California. State of emergency.
send their own drones up to give chase. In New Jersey, the Army reporting the Picatinny Arsenal has had 11 unauthorized drone incursions in the last month.
Look what's back again. Same spot as last night.
21 local mayors now demanding answers from the state.
The minute you get eyes on them, they go dark. This is something we're taking deadly seriously.
The entire month before that, it was nightly drone incursions over Langley Air Force Base.
At this time, we
Langley. What's at Langley? Right. Airbase. Right. Where could these drones be coming from? Oh, because that's a very secure airbase. And I'm 100% sure they have the same drones that,
We have no evidence that these activities are coming from a foreign entity or the work of an adversary. We're going to continue to monitor what is happening, but, at no point were our installations threatened when this activity was occurring.
It's very interesting for them to first claim all that footage is fake, there's no drones, to yes, there are unknown drones in the sky. We can't confirm exactly what they are, but we do know they're not from foreign adversaries, which would make sense if this is just our own Space Force, flying around technology they don't want to admit to the public, so they're just playing dumb. But I somehow doubt they would be demoing top secret tech over the suburbs of Jersey just for everybody to see in plain sight and post on social media. No, I'm starting to think the authorities have no idea what these are, but to openly admit that would just be broadcasting their incompetence to everybody.
Is that
the more they deny these are foreign forces, the more I'm inclined to believe that's exactly what they are. So hopefully you can protect yourself with your tinfoil beanie, available at decoyvoice.com and link below.
Retard. Now, those that have been watching Alex a lot, I want you to... Oh, Alex is going to be in this. He opened up a new social media account, and the past few catches have come from one specific app. What app would that be? Well,
on the left have been ditching Twitter, and they've been ditching it for a new app called Blue Sky Social. That's the app that they're all on. It looks like Twitter, but it's for those who are woke.
It's pretty fucking
it's
lame.
Not really welcoming to those who are biology believers or anything that makes sense. They'll actually ban you instantly if you deny their transgender ideology and all this other nonsense. But something has been circulating on X in regards to Blue Sky that caught my attention. So many people have been accusing Blue Sky of being a safe haven for pedophilia. And I've wondered myself. So I've, gone through some of their terms and conditions and read through a lot of it, and it is deeply concerning. Take a look at this. So to join Blue Sky, you just have to be 13 years of age.
Oh.
And then they completely dismiss any type of responsibility they might have in case there is a pedophile out there. So ultimately what they're saying is that the parents are responsible.
Wow.
The guardian is responsible, must read these terms on your behalf. You're responsible for your child's activities on the service. Okay. So they're literally just saying 13-year-olds can join, and your parents are the ones who are responsible for what goes on here. Nobody else. So they're trying to waive their responsibilities. Now, it's interesting given the fact that if you go on Blue Sky, there's a lot of emojis floating around. It's very, very suspicious. Now, Blue Sky says that they've been overwhelmed with a lot of complaints, and I think this is also interesting. This comes from the quartering, actually. Let's pull this one up. So they have been overwhelmed with so many complaints in regards to images, adult images, and potentially child pornography images, that they really just don't know what to do at this point. Blue Sky has grown over 3 million people in the last week. We're very welcoming of this. They say that we've received a wave of growing concerns in regards to all of this, and they really just are admitting that they can't keep up with all the complaints. So here's the fact, right? There are pedophiles on Blue Sky. Now, we don't know what Blue Sky is doing to combat all of this. I've actually reached out to Blue Sky directly, and I gave them several days to respond to me. I just want to know what the protocols were.
Nothing.
If they do come across a user who is trying to solicit sex from a minor on their platform. But they didn't get back to me.
Oh, of course.
And then I also asked them in regards to possibly having an 18-year of age limit. They didn't get back to me on that either. So Blue Sky is extremely suspicious, given the fact that we do know that there are suspected pedophiles on the platform utilizing.
What if they're using AI to sort out those emails and just fucking automatic delete? I mean, why wouldn't that be possible?
The platform, and the website is literally just, the app is literally just waiving all of its responsibility for whatever happens on its platform. Joining me now to discuss, the man who's well aware of this issue, Alex Rosen from Predator Poacher joins us now. Alex, I want to thank you for coming on today, because you've caught at least, I think, 5 you're up to now of suspected pedophiles on Blue Sky. So there definitely is a pattern here. What are you noticing with the guys that you're meeting up on these platforms? And what's the deal with the emojis? Because the emojis are extremely suspicious as well.
Right. So on Blue Sky now, and we've seen this before in other apps, but it's just been super prevalent on Blue Sky because, you know, even before Blue Sky gained popularity after a certain election result, it was a haven for pedophiles. Like when I first got on there decoying, it was after the election. You know, I was kind of late to it too. But, you know, I saw, you know, multiple comments of people saying, oh, man, it's over for us, because this is where the pedos were congregating to for what seemed to be a very long time before we even knew it was a pedo platform. And the thing with Blue Sky is, you know, a lot of them, it seems like a lot of the more hardcore pedos into child pornography go on there because it's a pretty discreet app. Like, you know, you can just put any, I mean, you can do it on any app, I guess, but you can put any profile you want. And a lot of them don't do a lot of talking on Blue Sky. They just advertise that they're a pedo using like the map symbol. Like they take an emoji of a map and just put it on their bio, and it's for other people to know exactly what they mean. And then they kind of exchange some pleasantries, just go to a more encrypted app, and then they.
Whoa. Oh. A map. That's wow. Now I have to go look out for another fucking symbol.
They start trading child pornography on there. So we've caught 5 people on Blue Sky, and just it's been so easy. I mean, we've found people just off posts of, you know, they would post like a meme or something that says, for example, here's one. We got a guy, Nathaniel Hernandez, arrested in Midland, Texas last month, and he retweeted a meme that said, how I am when my family brings up pedophilia, and just him blending in, and how I am when without my family around. It shows like him being a pedophile. And he retweeted that meme, and we found so many pedos liking that picture, and just we followed all of them, and so many of them were DMing us on the hook. So since we got Nathaniel Hernandez arrested in Midland, Texas for child pornography in Midland, by the way, which he said he had videos of babies, toddlers, admitted to molesting his own cousin. He's still in Midland County Jail as far as I know. We've caught 4 more pedos off Blue Sky, 2 of them being sex offenders. Sex offenders congregate on there all the time. We caught a guy from Mascoutah, Illinois, Patrick Judge. He traveled all the way to Benton, Illinois, met up with me thinking I was a father of an 11-year-old kid, and Valentina Gomez thinking that he was my wife. And he admitted on our hidden camera that he had tons of child pornography and wanted to have sex with.
I remember this.
He got arrested as well. So it's very
locals,
guys.
Very easy
locals. To get these pedos hitting you up, and they all congregate there, and they use the hashtags like #MAP, #AAM, Adult Attracted Minor, and I've never seen such a such a more obvious ring of pedos on any app. Blue Sky's the number one. I mean, for seeing like this, what seems to be this pedo ring, just all coming together. So.
Yeah, and that's what's so disturbing about all of this, I have to say, because it's becoming a safe haven.
And the platform is well aware because I've flagged it now for them and they have not responded. But the fact that this is happening, Alex, and you've been exposing it for literally weeks now, and still they're not really
Absolutely.
doing
Those
much
fried
in
pickles.
regards to all of this is disappointing, but it also should be criminal. I wanted to play a clip because you actually spoke to a suspected pedophile and they outlined what they've been finding on Blue Sky. They even referred to it as the Wild West. Take a listen.
Has Blue Sky kind of took a turn for something you weren't expecting it to at all, or did it kind of?
Yeah.
Okay. What type of turn was that on Blue Sky? Like, what kind of happened?
It's like, I don't know, it's like back in the day. It's like the Wild West. All kinds of, you come across people shitting on each other, pissing on each other, sting each other.
So is he over exaggerating? Is this really the content that you're seeing posted on Blue Sky?
So the content itself, they've cleaned up on what's being posted on there physically, and in the DMs you cannot send any photos, but I think that's just a feature they're going to add. It's still kind of a new app. But as for pedos congregating and communicating with each other, it's still very much alive. I mean, when you come across some profile with 20 followers and no posts, and then you see that like 10 of your mutuals are following that profile, that's an indicator they're all trading child pornography with each other. So yeah, it's very easy
That's
to just kind
probably
of
why.
signify
I've only been there about a dozen times, but I'm only following like art and photography. I'll just stick to that, except for if I see a map.
a pedo on Blue Sky and get people filling up your DMs. I mean, just from our fake accounts that we've made, I mean, our DMs, without us even like really putting too much out there, just filled. I mean, endlessly. I mean, we made an account the other day on there, and within an hour, there was 20 people messaging us, all interested in children.
It's hard for your blood not to boil over on these types of stories, I gotta say, because it's so infuriating that this is happening. Alex, you're just a regular civilian who is now going out here and confronting these individuals and having them arrested. But our law enforcement agencies should be the ones doing this, but they've just chosen. I mean, the FBI literally is just not doing it anymore. I mean, they've literally said they might be taking up some cases, but they've literally pulled people off, like Steve Friend, who's now FBI whistleblower, off pedo cases, and they put him on J6 cases. And there's so many people who are dealing with that right now in the agency, and they're upset about it. But again, this should be handled by law enforcement. It shouldn't have to be people like yourself going out there and confronting them, but you're not afraid to do so. I want to play this other clip too that you posted. It's in regards to a suspected pedophile that you ran into who you confronted inside of his home with law enforcement right behind you. Let's take a look.
Oh, God. Don't hurt yourself, dude. Oh, God. Fridge. I'm in the... Oh, Isaac. Oh, God. Isaac, just don't even try to delete it. Dude. Oh, God. Okay, Isaac, just stop finger your phone, dude. Just give it up, bro.
God can't help you here.
Okay. Basically what's
No shit, Roots.
Isaac, you're not going to talk to a 13-year-old again, are you? No. It's your last time doing it? Okay, you're not going to trade child porn again, are you? No. Last time doing it? Yes. Okay. And some have sent some terrible like babies and stuff, right? Yes. Okay. Oh, God. And unfortunately, you've watched some prepubescent rape videos out of curiosity, right? But you're not going to do it again, right? No. Okay.
Oh, time for a fucking curb stomp.
So that's going to make my blood boil over. But ultimately, give us the background on this story, because I think it's interesting on how he's upset, he's emotional, but his background, I believe he's an attorney. Is that correct?
So no, he's not an attorney.
One of the ones I watched that I really liked when this dude was a vapor, and he told him a couple times not to vape in the house, and then the cops are standing right there, and he says, "What the fuck do you say? Stop vaping, you little faggot," or some shit like that. And the dude was like, "Can we just make them stop recording?" And the cops put the cuffs on him. Yeah, sure. Not on Alex, but the predator. It's fucking funny as shit.
He's like the office manager of the law firm.
Also on local.
If he was an attorney, he'd be the dumbest person to take his own advice, because he just admitted to watching videos of young babies and toddlers trading it and talking to multiple kids. But yeah, his name's Isaac. He's in Indianapolis. Luckily for him, because Indianapolis, Marion County doesn't want to prosecute pedo cases, which I'm sure we'll get into soon about a certain one. But yeah, so he was messaging who he thought was a 13-year-old boy on Blue Sky, and he's 47 years old or 48. And he also had a Discord account too, which is an app meant for kids to play games on. So, I mean, mind you, this guy is 48 with a Discord account. And yeah, just very openly following tons of pedo pages on Blue Sky. Like, I looked at his following list, and there was just so many indicators that that's all he was into. So without him even getting too sexual with our 13-year-old decoy, he got sexual, but not like overtly. I still went to his home anyway because I just was very confident he was going to have child pornography. And lo and behold, I mean, he admitted to, stuff of babies, toddlers, all that stuff, and has been watching it for years. So he was a little bit on the zesty side, as they say. So he had quite the reaction to being caught. He was on the phone with the lawyer he worked for, and the lawyer just let me talk to him, which was hilarious.
What the fuck?
And
probably because you just want to get rid of him.
Right? Yeah, I think it was a good excuse for him. And yeah, the cops came. Unfortunately, did not do anything, but at least Isaac's face is out there, and that's better than nothing.
That's the part that's so infuriating about this. Alex, I've seen a couple of your reports. I follow up with local PD when they don't make the arrest, and there's never really a good excuse as to why they don't do so. They would just say, oh, it's under investigation. They just hope that you kind of go away and you ignore it.
Yeah, I heard a lot
We're
about
talking people here
Discord,
who
but
have
it's
done
one of those like,
horrible things to children.
the
who
fuck is
intend to
it?
do
Do I
horrible
need
things to
it?
children. So this should
And
be
the
a
obvious answer
priority
is
with
no.
them. I want to talk about a few that you had publicly with the South Carolina Attorney General, Alan Wilson, I believe. And you just recently actually got an update on this. So you've had a tough time in South Carolina when it comes to having these individuals, these suspected pedophiles, arrested. And it's not very friendly to people like yourself who are going out there and capturing them. What was the interaction with? Because I hear you have a DM that you've just received from the AG's office. What has that interaction been so far?
No, they're talking about Blue Sky here.
Going on?
So multiple times we've heard that in accordance with the Attorney General, Alan Wilson, PDs are not going to be taking our cases, not just ours, but any civilian that brings us stuff in South Carolina. They're not going to be taking any of these cases up. And, it happened to my friend, Bikers Against Predators, yesterday. And I was like, all right, enough's enough. We have a pretty big following on Twitter now. And we just made a video basically calling him out for being a pro pedo defender. And, it's harsh words, but that's, I think, exactly what it is.
And he's a public official, so.
And he actually, props to him. He responded to my post and he said, hey, I'm open to a conversation. And he followed us back. He opened up his DMs to us, and I actually DM'd him. And I'm like, let's get an in-person meeting as soon as possible. And he's like, okay, I'm going to have my scheduler call you. And he gave kind of a summary of his reasons for not prosecuting, which I'm not fully buying. I mean, I understand where he's coming from, even though like he's
kind of want to be there for that interview.
That says that
or
as
conversation.
long as they believe it to be a minor, they can be prosecuted. And then a law enforcement officer posing as a minor is not a defense, or is not something a defense attorney can bring up. But it doesn't say anything about civilians one way or the other. So that can still be prosecuted. I mean, a state like Mississippi has that same wording where they say it's not a defense to the crime if it's a law enforcement officer or an undercover operative posing as a minor. But we've had cases in Mississippi prosecuted and convicted based on that, a very similar statute to South Carolina. So I'm hoping we get to meet him in person and go over what we've had in other states, the successes we've had in other states. And on top of that, too, we've caught multiple people with child pornography in South Carolina. So the state statute shouldn't matter when it comes to the chats, when it comes to child pornography.
Facts.
And they still refuse to prosecute those cases as well. So it's more than just a state statute. I think it's a little bit of egos and narcissism getting in the way of that. So we'll see, though. We'll see. Let's hope we meet him in person.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hopeful.
They don't want
I'm
people
so fed
doing
up,
their
though, with the
jobs
fact
better
that
than they
our
do.
elected officials just don't take these things seriously. And that's just the reality. Our government doesn't do enough. I mean, we're talking about, according to Eric Adams, 500,000 missing migrant children in this country, and literally nobody even cares. I mean,
Dude, that number jumped up from
slavery right now,
325
literally
to
just cheap labor. They could be sex
500.
trafficked, and nobody in this country seems to care. And they all just look the other way on this. It's so egregious. But, Alex, thank you for all that you do, because I know you guys over at Predator Poetry, because you're doing this literally just because you want to do it, just because you want to help out and get rid of these freaks. And I think this is the best way to do so. So, folks, I got to remind you, you got to subscribe to his channel on X, on Locals as well. That's how you support groups like this, and they can keep their work going. Alex, as always, I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Good stuff, right? Good stuff. Now, no, it wasn't about Discord. It was about Blue Sky. All right, got some more interesting. Wow, damn, this has gone on longer than I expected. We're going to talk a little bit about DA Fani Willis. She got some news that isn't very Christmassy for her.
County, Georgia. And here we go. A Georgia Court of Appeals has disqualified the Fulton County DA, Fani Willis, from that election interference case. It's coming down right now. The case against Trump and more than a dozen others already largely stalled, as you know. The new ruling means that it will be up to the prosecuting attorney's council in the state of Georgia to find another prosecutor to decide on the case, to take it over and make a decision as to whether or not they continue with a prosecution of the incoming president.
And former Deputy Assistant Attorney General John Yoo is here. John, does this mean that this is yet another one of the cases against Trump?
You're fucking kidding me, Zip. Is that the one you sent me the link to?
That could go away before he's president?
It's another example, Dana, of this lawfare campaign that was waged by Democrats, boomeranging back on them and falling all around their ears. Anyone watch this trial? Remember, this is the DA who...
If you... attorneys. I want y'all to think about this. If you're ordering anything from Amazon expecting to get by Christmas Day, expect, even though they're going to say don't expect a delay, but expect a little bit of a delay. And, well, let's see why. I mean, this is why I hate unions. But it also, when I was thinking about listening to this, you're striking for better wages. I get that. Don't do it before Christmas. Do it after the New Year, which is something I would agree with. But this is also pushing the case for more automation, right? You do more of these strikes, and it makes them go, you know what? These robots aren't such a bad idea. And they start installing them like they did in fast food places in California.
You have ordered a man bag. There's a possibility it may be delivered late because we got a Fox News alert just moments ago. The Teamsters Union has kicked off an historic strike against Amazon. Workers at 7 facilities across 4 states are walking off the job at this hour.
Yep, the rank and file are going to be walking the picket lines at hundreds of Amazon fulfillment centers nationwide. This will allow warehouse workers and drivers without collective bargaining agreements to join in.
I didn't even know they were unionized. So here we go. If you're waiting on gift deliveries that could cause big problems, 6 days until Christmas.
So the Teamsters Union represents around 10,000 workers at 10 Amazon facilities. They say they're fighting for better benefits and safer working conditions at work.
That's right. And those are live pictures right now. They are walking the line. Fox 5 here in New York, taking these images in Mathspeth, New York. Amazon says there will be no impact to your holiday deliveries.
Right.
But keep in mind, it's at the Amazons in San Francisco, portions of Los Angeles, New York, Atlanta, and Chicago. And the union says if your package is delayed, something you wanted for Christmas, and it doesn't show up, the union says blame Amazon's greed, because what they're trying to do is they're trying to get a settlement before Christmas.
They want more money. They want to get paid more. The
Right,
Teamsters organization, though, there are only 10,000 people that are affected. And when you compare that to how many people work at Amazon, it's a small portion because 1.5 million people work at Amazon. So hopefully it's not going to affect your packages. But just beware, if you're shopping, there could be a delay.
Well, they're definitely using this as a negotiation point. They are fully aware that it's the holiday season and people want their packages, and they're using it to put some pressure on Amazon. I'm not sure it's really going to work, though, considering the amount of people that are protesting.
I just saying, you know how the president likes to be hands-on? Jeff Bezos having dinner with him last night, and the Teamsters Union president has already been down to Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah, they have a great relationship.
He did not endorse Trump, but he didn't endorse a Democrat, and they do get along. So I think he could probably do did you still do party lines? Or FaceTime? You could FaceTime with 2 people, or you could Zoom call.
You could.
And President Trump could end this.
Well, you know what? I think President Trump needs to work on what we're about to talk about.
That's a transition.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our...
Who said, I get wanting better wages and better benefits, but I think doing it at this time of year, yeah, it gets people to notice. But I don't know. I guess I see things differently because, well, I've been away from homes on many, many, many holidays where I had no choice but to, wear a uniform and eat this shitty Christmas dinner that, same thing every year. But whatever, dude. All right. Nope, don't want it.
Do you think
Oh, here we go. Not here we go. Let's get away from the soul serious shit, and we can end it off with a good laugh. Well, 3 good laughs. Because college kids, rewind. Not just college kids are very uneducated. And they're going to try to say, who is worse? Mao Zedong, the Chinese guy that had 65 million people killed. Okay. Joseph Stalin. That dude was a pillar of his community. Unless you were. Then you have Osama bin Laden, CIA operative that was blamed for the murder of thousands at the World Trade Center. Che Guevara, who killed many of people, called Mexicans dirty, and I believe he said blacks were inferior. Che Guevara, the one that you guys wear on your shirts, right? For goddamn communism, right? So if you're a black person wearing a Che Guevara shirt, if you're a Mexican wearing a Che Guevara shirt, you're calling for the genocide of your own people. But do any of those guys compare to the terrible Donald Trump? Now, this was before the election. I think this is actually more than a couple years ago, but she just posted it because she's still kind of thin in this video. So
Donald Trump is worse than anybody on this list? Killed more people than Stalin did.
Purple face.
Osama bin Laden. We are here in Sarasota where we are trying to see if any liberals think Donald Trump is worse than any of these really just awful people. Let's see if we can find any.
I don't know. I found a meme that says Black Lives Matter. Right? Black Lives Matter. And I don't know.
Guys, I
can tell you who the best is right here.
All right.
Donald Trump is the best?
Absolutely.
Yeah? What do you think about the people who say he's the worst?
They don't know him like we
they're
know.
retarded.
They don't know him like we know him.
Yeah.
Oh, you know?
Who's the worst on here?
It's probably a toss-up between these two.
Between those two is the worst?
They killed most Americans.
Donald Trump killed the most Americans.
Biden killed more.
Yeah, over 300,000 so far.
Okay. How many did he kill?
You know what? I don't know.
Do you know who he is?
Yeah, he was Chun.
Huh?
Is that right? Chun?
No.
From China? Oh, who is
He's from China, obviously, but no, that's not him. Do you know who this is?
Stalin.
Yeah, you think Trump killed more people than Stalin did?
Yes.
What are the numbers?
Dude, you don't even have a chin.
I don't know how many people Stalin
He goes
killed,
straight from
purposely, but I do know how many he killed.
Purposely?
Out of ignorance, out of
Oh,
his
never mind,
ego.
there's his
How?
triple
Explain
chin.
that to me.
Because he promoted no wearing face masks, the coronavirus he did absolutely nothing about.
He did nothing?
He did nothing about
Who's the worst person?
coronavirus. Do you know? Hear me out, guy. I'm pretty sure you're intelligent because you look way older than me, and you're probably college educated. And I totally forgot what I was gonna say because I was trying to insult this guy.
Virus he did absolutely nothing about.
Oh yes, Look up Operation Warp Speed. Warp Speed. You know, the one that rushed the vaccine that wasn't effective and didn't really matter. That one. And if you got the vaccine, I'm not sorry for you.
He did nothing?
Nothing.
Who's the worst person on
Hey,
this
really?
list? He's the worst?
Well, it's 'cause you
How?
still
How
want
is he
that.
the worst?
I don't want to make any enemies here.
Enemies?
You even
I'm
know
not
who
your
the other
enemy.
ones are, and that's what I was thinking. Like people that automatically pointed to Trump, like, do you even know who the other people are? And I will do an episode on all these people tomorrow because I didn't expect to run this long with the other stories.
What the hell? He just straight up, yep, Donald Trump's the worst one on this list. Okay.
He didn't have an answer for you.
No, he's gonna tell me why.
I am so not interested.
What's your New Year's
Why not?
resolution?
New Year's resolution is to minimize sugar and try to get the love and kindness back in my heart.
Oh, okay.
You
Lost
can
them.
start with doing an interview with me.
No, definitely not about what you're talking about.
You don't even know.
I have absolutely no interest.
You said love and kindness in your heart. You
Because
could
they
do
don't
that
know
with
who
me.
they are.
Right here at this interview. You think Donald Trump is the worst person on this list?
I'm gonna use my what is it? The Fifth Amendment. I'm gonna use that and say no.
Okay.
Leave you alone.
Because she's totally
We done?
All right.
The
The
government.
resolution's not going too well, but love and kindness back into his heart. Trump was worse than Joseph Stalin?
Why'd you say anything?
Yeah, why'd you say that? Does that statue not look like me?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it does look like me.
Especially in the wind, you know, the hair.
Yeah.
Beautiful hair.
Yeah, a little inappropriate, but it definitely looks like me. That reminds me, Caitlin Bennett Uncensored. Liberty Hangout.TV's footage of all of
We got it from Europe. That's
Hangout.tv.
we did not get the disease from China. We got it from Europe.
Wait, what?
That's where we got infected from, was from people coming in from Europe.
How long have you been simping for China?
How long what?
Yo,
How long
guys.
have you been simping?
I hate to tell you this. Just like yesterday, when we all thought the national bird was the bald eagle, we all were told wrong. The Kung flu came from Europe.
People coming in from Europe.
How long have you been simping for
Oh.
China?
That
Liberty Hangout.tv.
God damn it.
we did not get the disease from China. We got it from Europe. That's where we got infected from, was from people coming in from Europe.
How long have you been simping for China?
How long what?
Well, how long have you been simping for China?
Simping for China? What does
Yeah.
that mean?
It's been a while. I think it's been a while. All right, so what did he do?
What does simping for China mean? Like a sympathy for China?
No, I don't know. Why are you excusing China for what they did?
I'm not excusing China for what they did. Not one bit.
Right.
They probably should have closed down their own borders.
Okay. So when
Great
Donald
Wall.
Trump did it, he was called a racist by Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi went to Chinatown and said, "Come on over, give us hugs, eat our food." He did it before the Democrats would have done it.
You're going to have your opinion and your slant on things.
No, those are facts.
You racist motherfucker. Did you just call me a slant?
This is also a fact. In February, in January, in December, the coronavirus was nothing. It will all go away once the weather
I'm going to interrupt you. So don't you say Donald Trump said not to wear a mask. You're not wearing a mask. Are you killing people?
I'm 6 feet away from everybody. When I go to a restaurant, I wear masks. Do we have a mask?
6 feet, huh?
You said Donald Trump promoted non-mask wearing, and he's responsible for deaths. You're not wearing a mask right now. Are you responsible? You're not.
Yes, I am.
That's not 6 feet.
I don't think this is 6 feet. Anyway, this guy killed Mao. This is Mao. He killed
You think that's
65
6 feet? You
million
probably think
people.
it's 12 inches.
65 million people. He put them in camps. Joseph Stalin. Joseph Stalin gulags. Do you know what those are?
Alternative facts. You have alternative facts.
And you have fake news.
Alternative fact.
So here we go. Here's our first person of the day.
Yeah, he looked pretty.
Believing that
Yeah.
the Kung flu is actually from China is an alternative fact.
They're communists.
Off his head right now.
He killed 65 million people by they're communists. So here we go. Here's our first person of the day.
Yeah, he looked pretty evil.
Yeah, they're communists.
thump his head right now.
All right.
He kills 65 million people by starving them.
What?
Yeah, that's what communists do.
He dead now?
Oh,
He did that, but look how fat he is.
Yeah, if I had to go dig him up and kick him in his ass again.
Hell yeah.
What do you guys think?
I'm not taking your bait.
My bait? What's my bait? Their New Year's resolution is to take more testosterone. All right, guys. It's not Donald Trump though, right? He's not as bad as Mao or Joseph Stalin though, right?
Have a good day.
Yo, I get it. Testosterone's supposed to start dropping once you hit 30, 35. But Jesus fucking Christ, did these guys not get testosterone at all? Yes, Jilly, she actually wearing a dress now, and I believe she had that checked out, and she's good now. That's why she doesn't drink anymore.
All right, I know what your New Year's resolution is to be more nice. He didn't get anything for Christmas. So do you think Donald Trump is probably the best one on this list?
No.
No?
What?
Who's better than Donald Trump out of these people?
He was revolutionary, trying to free his people.
He made labor camps for gay people specifically.
Yeah, not great.
And he hated gays, I forgot.
Has Trump done that?
He imprisoned children and separated families.
He imprisoned children.
Correct.
Did he
Yes.
kill them?
Some died, yes.
From Donald Trump? Did Donald Trump order them to be tortured and executed?
His policies. No.
It wasn't.
It was.
No, that
It wasn't. That was Obama's policies.
Yeah.
Yeah, you give it an alternative fact.
He made them worse.
He did.
Okay. So you
Obama
think...
never separated families.
Yes, he did.
No, he didn't.
He did.
That's a fact.
It's just weird that you think someone who made camps specifically for gay
Also, he
people...
killed-
Hold on.
He killed more people. If you're considering the coronavirus
I'm not.
as him being responsible for,
He's not. China's responsible for that.
Is it?
Yes.
I disagree.
Where did it come from?
Doesn't matter. Viruses come from anywhere.
Okay, so good point. So how is it Trump's fault?
He could have done a lot more to, like, for example, countries like Australia, where my father lives, right? They have very few deaths, and actually
Because
they
they're
locked down
pretty
their
much,
country to the point.
you got caught outside your fucking house, you were arrested. You make a meme about the fucking country, you got arrested.
Where they don't have any. It's wide open now.
Do you think Donald Trump is worse than Joseph Stalin? He's Googling it. We'll circle back. Let me know what you think about that death toll.
Fake news.
You just said he killed more people than all these other people.
Fake news.
I just want numbers.
Who invented the term fake news?
You did.
No, I did not. Donald Trump invented that term. And do you
No,
know
he
why
didn't.
he invented
It was the liberals who
It
did
is
it, and
his
he took
theory-
it back.
Oh, he's
it is his
triggered.
theory that if he promotes falsehoods and calls names long enough
You got a
on
boil
TV,
on your neck.
that simple-minded people will start to believe him.
Falsehoods.
You are one of those.
You just said that Joseph Stalin killed less people than
Oh,
Donald
you're
Trump.
not gay. Okay.
Okay. Falsehoods. I'm promoting them. He just said all of these people killed less people than Donald Trump did. I don't know who some of them are.
Nailed
who
it.
do you know? Thank you. Sorry. I gotta go. I don't think she knew any of them except Donald Trump.
Listen, Roots. I have been to plenty of foreign countries. But I'm definitely not sophisticated.
To support my work directly, you can go to patreon.com/Caitlin Bennett. For $5 a month, you can get into my private Facebook group, or if you sign up at a higher tier, I will autograph a photo for you every month and mail it to your house. How stinking cool is that? Patreon.com/Caitlin Bennett. Thanks for supporting my work.
Who is the worst person? Well, it's certainly not our great president.
All right.
Because he is an awesome patriot.
Now I'm gonna start
and
that
he
bit.
is an anti-globalist, and the last thing we need is global slavery.
Ka-chow.
There
I
you
like
go.
that.
That's it. The last thing
Or
we
put
need.
a bra on.
He's our last best hope. These guys. This is. I think you spell his name C-H-E. I think he has 3 letters in front of that. D-O-U-C-H-E. Okay.
That was a good one.
That was a good one. You're full of zingers today.
And that's actually Joe Biden right there.
Oh.
They look very similar.
Yes. And that's Maxine Waters. It's Al Sharpton right there.
Oh my God.
That's funny.
3,000 deaths a day. And that's Pearl Harbor numbers every single day.
So how is he responsible for it? What could he have done?
He could have literally shut down the entire country, forced everyone to wear masks.
You are not wearing a mask.
Yeah.
Are you responsible for
I have a
deaths?
mask right
But you don't have it on.
It
Are you
doesn't help.
responsible for deaths?
I have been tested prior to leaving Illinois, and I was positive.
So
negative.
Donald Trump didn't do enough, but you are not locking down. You came to one of the most open states, and you think Donald Trump should have shut down the entire nation. Everybody else
Dude, imagine
should
trying
have
to
been
break his
locked out of
nose
their
when,
jobs,
like, literally
barricaded in their
there's
homes.
no.
We are South Korea. We are America.
It could have been for 3 weeks to a month, and it
You're
could
a
have been
hypocrite.
done. No,
You're a
I'm not.
hypocrite because you came to one of the most open states. You are not wearing your mask. You are not social distancing. But Donald Trump is responsible for everything happening
I know. There's nothing I'm going to say that's going to convince you,
because you're lying.
because you're
And
wrong.
I don't take anything from a hypocrite.
Okay. Well, you have him on the same board as some of the worst killers in the world. Why? Why
Because
do you
there's
have
people
that?
out there, I want to prove that there's
Yeah.
people out there that think he's worse than the people on this list, and you're one of them.
But he's bad.
You know?
You said he's
You know? Think where they fucked up was they didn't add Hitler. Because they know who Hitler is now. Because Donald Trump is Hitler. Unless they thought that was Hitler and not Donald Trump.
worse than Che Guevara, who made camps, labor camps for gay people and tortured them for being gay.
Okay. Well, it was a pleasure talking to you.
It was a pleasure talking to you and pointing out your hypocrisy. If you like it when I point out these crazy people's hypocrisy, support my work at patreon.com/Caitlin Bennett. I love coming out here, but I need you to help me do that.
So he was the worst.
Bin Laden?
Who is it?
Osama bin Laden.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
He was the worst?
Yeah.
Why?
I'm from Israel, and he was the
No,
worst for my
fuck you.
country. He was the best. This guy's the best.
Fuck you. Israel's one of
Do you
the
think Donald
worst
Trump is worse
countries
than
during
anybody on
lockdown.
this list?
Oh, and in some ways, he's probably worse than all of them put together.
What?
Really? Oh, gosh.
Ways you don't even.
Oh, give me one way he's worse than all of them put together.
One thing. We all have our bad habits, and I don't want to, judge him. I've never met the man. I just see him on TV.
Yeah.
See what happens, but he's,
Have you ever seen what happened with Mao or Joseph Stalin?
No. No.
Have you ever heard of them?
No.
No.
I have, but I don't keep track of it.
Do you think starving 65 million people and rounding up farmers and killing them with starvation was worse than what Donald Trump has done?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
To watch the full uncensored portion from the strip, go to libertyhangout.tv.
How many fucking advertisements, you cunt? Gotta pay for those diapers, huh?
So you were ready just to say Donald Trump was worse than all of these genocidal, communist, terrorists. Well, what's one way he's worse than these communist dictators and this terrorist down there?
Just his attitude. Obama's picture.
His attitude. Donald Trump's attitude is worse than 65 million people. I just want proof that Donald Trump's worse than these people
That dude
combined.
looks like he's from Texas. No offense, you Texans, but yeah.
I don't think he is. Who's the worst one on this list? They're all pretty bad.
All right.
Do you think Donald Trump is as
Dude,
bad
he's
as
got
Joseph
fucking tits on him,
Stalin?
too.
No, okay, there we go. Hey, who's bad? Who's worse? Is Donald Trump as bad as Joseph Stalin?
Oh, he's already limp-wristed and shit.
I don't think that's a laughing matter. I don't know. What do you think?
You should have Barack Obama on there.
He's pretty bad. He's killed a lot of people.
Worse than any of these people.
Well,
But that's just my opinion.
I'm going to take Obama's side on that one. But he does believe in the same things as a lot of these people. Communism,
does.
yeah, I'd have,
Well, yeah.
I'd
Yeah.
have to say that. So who do you think would be the worst?
Of this group, Barack Obama aside, probably Stalin.
Yeah.
Probably Stalin.
Yep, he's up there, isn't he?
But I definitely go for Obama. Obama's number one.
Yeah, he's
on
pretty
my,
bad.
I shouldn't say list, but you can edit that, right?
Naughty list.
Naughty list.
You didn't get anything for Christmas, did you? No, you didn't. Yeah. What do you guys think about this? You do? All right, if you love me, then you should have the right answer.
You're wearing a mask.
Who's the worst one on this list?
Yes.
He's
Probably
pretty
the only
bad.
one they know.
He's pretty bad, huh? Do you think Donald Trump is as the best?
To me.
Okay, all right. Did you just act like you were?
Wow. Oh,
He
definitely.
doesn't feel the same way.
No?
You
Well,
can
Justin,
tell.
here, come over here so people can walk through. Why do you think, well, I don't know what you think. Do you think Donald Trump is
The hair
better
and
than
the
anybody on this list?
Yeah.
No.
No?
No.
Can you scoot over this way a little bit?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know like all of them.
Okay.
Huh?
Well, who do you know?
I just know Bin Laden, and he's definitely worse than Trump.
I would say so.
But Trump's not good.
He's not good.
No. And it's like, I don't want to kill you.
Okay, I just want to know who is worse than Trump on this list?
Well, probably him. I don't know.
Who's better than Trump?
Trump is not a terrorist. Okay?
Trump's not a terrorist.
Trump
We'll
is
give
not a
him that.
terrorist.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
One in the bikini top is definitely the party girl.
Who's the worst one on this list?
I'll say Mao.
Mao?
Up.
Yeah.
Is
Why
it
do you
because you're
say that?
Chinese?
I believe that he killed most people.
Yeah.
Isn't that wrong?
Do you know who your opinion would be about who is the worst person on this list?
Better pick Shay.
Trump.
Trump is?
Yeah.
Wow.
Why is he worse than Joseph Stalin?
Because Trump, as the leader of the free world, has done so much damage internally and externally. Whereas
really?
most of these leaders did some damage across their borders, but
A little damage, right?
yeah.
Oh,
But
just
for
a
the
little
most
bit,
part,
guys.
Trump has
65
damaged
million is a little
relationships.
bit.
He's disrupted our democracy for everything that Americans believe in, whether
not a
they realize
democracy.
it yet or not. He's disrupted it.
All right, so do you know the death toll of Mao down there in the middle under the Communist Chinese Party?
No, I don't.
65 million.
Really?
Do you know Joseph
Oh,
Stalin's
wow.
death
Just
toll
a
in
yeah?
Soviet Russia with the gulags and all that good stuff?
Nope, I don't.
Upwards of 40 million. Che Guevara, do you know what he liked to do to gay people?
No.
He liked to put them in labor camps and torture them.
Really?
Uh-huh. You know anything about Osama bin Laden?
Just a little.
He's worse than he's better than Trump?
Wow.
Well, I think it's a function of, again, disrupting.
Yo.
Um,
The fucking TDS in this bitch is insane.
core values, our core values.
Do you think running two planes into American buildings in New York City and killing thousands of American citizens in the name of Islam is disrupting anything?
Oh, absolutely. I think it was absolutely unacceptable.
Yeah.
It was
What?
deplorable.
But it's worse than what Trump has done.
It's not worse. I think what Trump has done over 4 years is a lot worse. We just
Wow.
don't know it yet.
You don't know why? You don't know why
Wow.
he's worse than Osama bin Laden?
We collectively don't understand all that he's disrupted. We
Do you?
Oh, sure.
Yo,
Can you tell me
do
one thing he's
realize
disrupted that's
9/11
worse than Osama
disrupted
bin Laden?
the entire fucking world. Do you know that?
We'll leave out the communists that have upwards, millions, tens of millions of people under their death toll. Let's just say Trump and Osama bin Laden. How is Trump worse than Osama bin Laden?
He's defrauded America.
I'm sorry?
Oh.
He's defrauded America.
Defrauded. So he took
How
away
so?
the fraud?
No, he's defrauded our system.
Huh?
So he's. Oh, I gotta take this. I got a Zoom call.
I heard ya. I liked what you said. If I thought.
Whew. Whew. So glad she got that phone call. She just kept digging herself deeper and deeper. Deeper and deeper.
What'd you say?
Everybody but Trump.
Yes.
Yes.
Everybody but Trump. Yeah.
But Trump. Trump's the greatest president. He'll be the GOAT.
Yeah.
I just wish people would wake up. That's right.
A lot of people do a turnaround. do a turnaround for me. Do a turnaround right there. We're just getting shit on.
Oopsie.
That was 2020. Don't expect 2021 to be any better. Anyway, while I have you here, you guys have a worse person on this poster board?
This guy in the center.
In the center, yeah. Person board.
Who's the worst person on this? He's pretty bad. Yeah, it's pretty bad. I have some people say Trump is worse than them combined.
Oh no, that's hilarious.
Not in my mind.
They're the ones that deserve the bird poop. Right on them. I'm just wondering.
I'm just curious.
If you think Donald Trump is worse than any of them.
I think there's good and there's evil, and I think there's you know, it's like trying to say which child do you love the most, which one is more evil than the other. Evil is evil, and it doesn't have to be measured. It can just be yes or no. And I'm a person that lives in the shades of gray.
Stalin killed millions of people.
Yep. And he's killed hundreds of thousands with COVID.
How did he do that?
No, he did not do that.
With COVID?
Trump did not kill people with COVID.
Based.
Trump didn't bring COVID here.
Except for you wearing a mask.
And Trump did not put people in labor camps, and he did not shoot them.
Yo,
and
he's schooling the bitch.
He didn't arrest journalists and
he didn't arrest journalists.
He did not arrest them, but he has.
But to compare, we are very good friends. But to say Trump is worse than Stalin is, I'm almost gonna have to hit you.
Okay, darling. We love each other.
Stalin's the worst. I'm gonna take her away now.
They're all
She didn't want you to embarrass yourself anymore. Once
Yes,
you stepped in.
I love your friendship. Who's the worst one on this poster board?
That's a hard question.
Is it?
Yeah.
This is hard? Who is this?
It's not. I don't actually know who that is.
Who's this person?
I don't know their name.
Who's this person?
I don't know his name either.
Where's he from?
Somewhere in Europe, Russia,
Holy
maybe.
shit.
Who's this person? Where's that person from?
Somewhere in the Middle East.
You don't know his name?
I don't know his name.
Oh no. Who's this?
I don't know his name either.
Where's he from?
I couldn't tell you.
Okay. So who's the worst person?
Considering from the people I know, I'd say him.
Okay.
Holy shit.
So who do you know?
Him.
So he's the worst person?
Only because I know him.
Okay. What if you knew this person killed 65 million people by rounding them up and taking them off of their farms with a great leap forward and starving millions of people and executing farmers who didn't want to go along with communism?
I would say that's awful.
But now that you know who two people are, which one's the worst?
I think it depends. Okay, for what he's done to a great population, him obviously, but I think that there's a lot of things that he's done that's harmed so many populations, not just in our country. Because I know he's done so much damage in our country and he's ruined so many lives. And I know you could disagree with that, and I know that's okay to disagree with that.
I'm not going to agree or disagree. I just want proof.
Oh, proof?
Yeah.
This pandemic for one.
Okay. Hi, NRA. Who's the worst one on this list?
The worst one is Obama.
Oh, yeah. He's not on here. I know. I mean, it is close.
Trump was the best president we ever had.
Yeah.
I've had 3 people tell me that he's worse than some people on this list.
Well, then they're f***ing crazy. Excuse my French.
We're out of here.
What are you, insane?
Yeah.
Come on.
I agree with you guys. Tell me, who the heck is the worst person on this board?
Are you for Trump or Biden?
I'm not going to tell you.
Here. I know there's an agenda. Look.
What's the agenda?
I hate to say who I voted for in these political times, but I don't think I vote for who's the best for the economy for America.
Huh? I know who you voted for.
Thank you.
Donald Trump.
That's who I voted for.
Yeah, I like it. I like it.
What's your litmus test?
If you're a liberal or not.
Whether they're liberal.
Whether they're a Democrat. This is all I need to decide.
To modern Western democracy, he's going to be one of the worst to me.
He's one of the worst people to modern democracy.
At this point in time.
Yeah.
At least American democracy.
How so?
I mean, he's had an assault on the rule of law. He's on the stability of our elections. I think he's assaulted.
None of which is proven.
Truthful in every way. I think he's assaulted our environmental regulations. Anything that's a progressive type program, I think he's assaulted it. My biggest concern is the rule of law, constitutionality, and the fact that he has destabilized our election system.
There ain't much to choose.
Huh?
Yeah, well, I just figured these people, everyone should know
Didn't you
them.
fight against Stalin?
So what's your final answer?
Pardon?
What's your final answer?
Well, I said there isn't enough to choose.
Well, you got 5.
Well, Bin Laden was probably the worst.
He's pretty bad.
He's pretty bad for the country.
Oh, I'm sorry. Donald Trump's bad for the country?
Yes.
How so?
How so?
Yeah.
I don't want to get on board as talking to the rest of the country.
All right.
Okay?
I think he's one of the best.
Pardon?
I think he's one of the best.
You do?
Yeah.
He didn't like government, so he loved government. He liked government. He's the government, so.
He's the government. Wow.
Can I rate them actually from 1 to like?
Go ahead. So let's do number 1 is the worst.
1 is worst. So there's 1.
Okay.
2.
Okay.
Actually, no. 1, 2, 3. Okay. This is hard. 4,
Serious?
5, I guess, because I don't know. I feel like I get canceled if I didn't put him as.
Well, why would Donald Trump be worse than Osama bin Laden?
Well, because I'm an American. Wait. Can you repeat that question?
Oh my
Why would
God.
Donald Trump be worse than Osama bin Laden?
I don't know why he'd be worse.
Because you had a hard time deciding
Why would he
who
be
was
worse?
better.
Because he's the government. I hate the government.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you hate more, the government or people who killed 3,000 people because they just want to run some planes into 2 buildings?
Yeah, that's why it's hard. I just really hate the government.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I put him as probably
So
worse.
why aren't you pointing at Stalin?
Probably. What are you, a libertarian or an anarcho-capitalist?
You know the fuck
So
you're not.
libertarians think Osama bin Laden is worse.
No, the
is better
fuck
than
he is
Donald
not.
Trump.
While we're at it, I'm gonna go in a bit. Do you know where I can find a shovel?
I don't. What do you need a shovel for?
I'm gonna go dig a hole at the beach.
Hi. Who's the worst one on this list?
Bin Laden.
Yeah, he's pretty bad. I agree with that. He's not.
Best one.
He's the best.
The best one.
Yes.
This guy right here.
Yes. Correct. You win.
Nothing.
Nothing. So I have nothing to give. What's your pick? Who's the worst person on this poster board? It's pretty bad. Pretty bad. Where do you think Donald Trump ranks? There's 5 people. Number 1. He's the best, right? He's not worse at all. Agreed. Thank you.
Understands it though.
No one I've had Donald Trump is worse than all of them combined. Donald Trump is worse than bin Laden. I've had a crazy. That's Trump derangement syndrome. You know what?
I'm often considered a constitutionalist.
There is a virus going around. It's called Trump derangement syndrome.
Or
There we go.
libertarian, but
Yeah, it is a virus and it's very contagious, especially on college
little
campuses.
smarter.
I could tell you who the least worst is.
Who's the least worst?
There you go.
Donald Trump. All right, all right.
There you go.
Why do you say that?
Trying to get a number.
Well, he's probably the only one out of here that likes to help people and save lives or help lives instead of hurt lives and hurt people and kill people.
And argue. I think out of everyone, I would say he's the worst. He's killed over 60 million, I think it is.
Okay.
Yeah, and communist China, enslaves.
Why is his picture included with these people?
Oh, because we're talking to liberals.
Oh, that's what I was trying to make sure.
Well, a woman that I just spoke to, she said that Trump was worse than anybody on this list because he's a terrorist, including Osama bin Laden, is better than Donald Trump.
So the one that killed, how many people were killed in 9/11?
At least
3,000?
So you're not liberal?
No. Okay.
Hell no. Gross, no. No, if I were a liberal, I'd wear a mask and I'd not shave my armpits, I guess.
This is a hero of the left here.
It is? Who do you think is the worst?
Oh, no English.
What?
No English?
No English? Oh, yes you do. Come on. You don't need to know English to know pictures.
What's your name? You said Sam. John.
All right. Now let's
What were you guys' major?
I know that one hurt your brain. Because I know it hurt mine. At first, I thought this was going to be, oh man, some college grads. But then he got kicked off campus.
Mechanical.
How many grams are in 1 kilogram?
Oh, I had it wrong.
Is incorrect.
Maybe I'm not smart than Yo!
Alright guys, so in today's video, what other place to go test people's knowledge than a college graduation, right? So I'm gonna hopefully get some interviews with some college graduates, see if they're smart or not, but most of them are probably gonna be in a rush. Hopefully we do get some content in. As many of you heard in the last video that I said I was coming to a state where everything is bigger. So it was a pretty obvious hint. Most of you guys got it right in the comments. You said Texas. So I'm here trying to figure out if everything is bigger in Texas, especially their brains. So without any further ado, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. We're trying to get that plaque, and let's get straight into the video. What's your name?
Yusuf.
Sam.
John.
Gianna. Karime.
What were you guys' major?
Mechanical.
Mechanical.
How many grams are in 1 kilogram?
1,000.
What continent is Hawaii in?
Continent. That's a good question. I'm gonna plead the fifth on that one.
No? You have no guesses?
I'm gonna plead the fifth.
Okay, what do you think?
North America, I guess.
North America?
Yeah.
Are you sure? Final guess?
Yeah, it's probably wrong, but
It is right. It's right. It's North
I don't
America.
think
What's
it's
the
right.
largest U.S. state?
Texas.
Fucking island.
Texas?
I'm not sure.
Where is the Panama Canal located?
Panama.
What is 7 times 12?
7 times 12, 84.
Can you name me 3 countries outside of North America?
Yeah. Egypt, Somalia, Libya.
What country is Istanbul in?
Turkey.
When water goes from a solid to a liquid, what is that called?
Ice. Oh wait, it's melting.
On a scale of 1 through 10, how smart are you?
Like a 5. 5.5.
Okay, so she went up to you. How many grams are in a kilogram?
You lost me. I don't know. 12?
100. 1,000, sorry.
What continent is Hawaii in?
In the U.S.
North America.
What's the largest U.S. state?
I don't know. I have an idea.
Alaska.
How long is a quarter of an hour?
Quarter of an hour. 25 minutes.
25 minutes.
These are
Correct.
college grads.
There you go. How many? Can you name me 3 countries outside of North America?
No.
No?
No.
No? Okay, can you name me 3 countries?
Morocco, France, and London?
London.
So
What is
close.
7 times 12?
100. 7 times 12?
7 times 12.
114? No.
114? Would you say?
I said 84.
She's correct. Can you tell me how many grams are in a kilogram?
32.
What is the largest U.S. state?
The largest U.S. state, Texas.
Texas. Incorrect. How long is a quarter of an hour?
How long is a quarter of an hour? I don't know. I'm blanking. I'm getting nervous. 20. I don't know. 25 minutes?
There you go. There you go. Okay. How many continents are there?
I don't know. 6?
Name me 3 countries other than America.
I don't know. Australia. I don't know. I don't know. I can't think of any right now.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for your time. How smart are you?
Smarter than the 5th grader.
What is
All
7
right.
times 12?
Maybe I'm not smarter than
What's the past tense for the word hurt?
Past tense for the word hurt. Hurted.
There you go. There you go. That is incorrect.
I have to get on my
What
kid for
country
that.
is Istanbul in?
Honestly, I don't know. That's a good one. I know it's in like the Middle East, right?
Kind of.
India?
India. No.
Oh,
It's
why
in
you get
Turkey.
so
It's in
excited?
Turkey. It's in Turkey.
Why are you getting so excited when I get these questions wrong? I know.
What is the past tense for the word sing?
Sung.
Sung. Perfect. How many grams are in a kilogram?
20.
What continent is Hawaii in?
It's Antarctica.
That's crazy. All
I
right,
was gonna
come
say
back, come
South
back.
America. It still counts.
No, it's
All right.
North America. What is the largest U.S. state?
Texas.
No. All
Why
right.
does everyone in Texas say it's Texas?
Because Texas is pretty big.
I thought it was the biggest.
Right? How long is a quarter of an hour?
How long is a quarter of an hour? Yo, come on, I know this one.
No cheating.
Are
No
you?
cheating. No
hour.
cheating. No cheating. What is it?
Quarter of an hour.
Quarter of an hour. Quick.
Quarter of an hour.
Quick.
Wow. 20 minutes.
On a scale of 1 through 10, how smart are you guys?
I'm gonna do like a 5.
Like maybe a 5.5.
5. Is it because you saw him get all the answers wrong? Okay, okay. What country is Istanbul in?
Oh, pass it on to AZ.
Brazil. Brazil?
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 Brazil. It's incorrect. What, what country is it in?
Can I take a guess?
Yeah, take a guess.
Maybe Russia?
Russia. No. What is that? All right, next question. What's the past tense for the word sing?
Sing, sung.
Sung?
Sung. Yeah.
Sung? Yep, incorrect.
Oh, sang.
Sang. What continent is New Zealand in?
Y'all know this one? I can get a hint?
I'll give you a hint. It's in the Eastern Hemisphere.
Yo.
Again. It's an island. It's an island. So is it really connected to Australia? Because there's only one country in Australia, and that's Australia. New Zealand is an island.
New Zealand is in somewhere a part of this world that we are on.
Yep. It's a continent. There's only 7 continents.
Okay.
So
okay.
your chances of getting it right is high.
Is it in South America?
South America is incorrect. That is incorrect. So if you guys don't want to be an NPC like the people I just interviewed, make sure to check out studyguides.com to be prepared. They're an online education 5,000 times, or even you want to study on them.
StudyGuides.com is where they used to make recruits help them get a little smarter from the ASVAB. Because you'd be surprised how many people that are in high school that can't do basic algebra or basic history or basic grammar. I'm glad I took my shit as a 17-year-old student in high school that was high anyway.
0.001.com for sponsoring this video. How many grams are in a kilogram?
0.001.
Incorrect. What country is Istanbul in? What happened?
Turkey.
Oh.
You can't even be interviewing people.
Guys, so unfortunately, as soon as we walked into the mall, the Galleria, and I interviewed the very first person I saw, security came and kicked us out instantly. So we're here outside the mall trying to get interviews around, or maybe even just find some random people to interview. Make sure to watch the entire video. Make sure you subscribe also. Can you tell me how many grams are in 1 kilogram?
Like 1,000.
And what is 7 times 12?
7 times 12. Can I use my phone?
No cheating, no cheating.
Like
I'd have to use my fingers.
How long is a quarter of an hour?
A quarter, 30 minutes.
A quarter of an hour?
Yeah.
Yep. There we go. And last but not least, how many dimes are in $1?
Dimes? Like, I don't use dimes. Those anyone use dimes? I never use those, so probably like 50.
How many grams are in a kilogram?
1,000.
What continent is Hawaii in?
South America.
South America. That is incorrect. That is incorrect. Okay. What is the largest U.S. state?
Alaska.
Alaska. There you go. How many continents are there?
7.
7. Okay.
That one.
Okay. What is 7 times 12?
I don't do math in my head, man.
What is the past tense for the word hurt?
There's many different versions. You can do.
No, there isn't.
Pained.
Like pain, hurt, like hurt.
There's only one word.
Pained. That's past tense.
It's hurt.
No, but like for the word hurt, just like hurt, like, you know, just hurt.
Heard.
What is 3 cubed?
Hurt.
9. Okay, 9?
No.
3 cubed?
Yeah.
Incorrect. Okay, there you go. It's 27. What country is the Amazon rainforest in?
Brazil.
What is 7 times 8?
What's with all these maths?
Last one.
56?
56. Okay. What continent is New Zealand in?
Asia.
Close. Oceania, like Australia.
Oceania is not a continent.
Australia.
That's part of Australia.
We'll agree to disagree. There's only
There you
7
go.
continents.
Can you name them?
Asia, North America, South America, Africa, Antarctica. Australia's not a continent.
Yes, it is.
Oh. Oh, I had it wrong.
Yeah.
No.
Oh.
There you go. There you go.
Wrong.
Okay. All right.
New Zealand is not
since
part of a
I was
That's
continent.
all good. How many grams are in 1 kilogram?
5.
Okay. What continent is Hawaii in?
North America.
What is the largest U.S. state?
Texas.
Incorrect.
Yeah, the
What country is the
question-
Suez Canal?
What continent is Hawaii in? That should make you think it's not in a fucking continent.
Hawaii in?
North America.
What is the
Sorry.
largest U.S. state?
Texas.
This little thing.
Incorrect.
Stupid
What country
thing.
is the Suez Canal in?
Egypt.
What country is Istanbul in?
Hey, can I answer
Egypt.
No.
Can I answer it? Turkey.
And when water goes from a solid to a liquid, what is that called?
Solid to a liquid. Freeze.
What country is the Amazon rainforest in?
America.
Oh,
I mean
which
Africa.
one?
Africa.
Can I answer it?
Pretty
Yeah,
close.
answer it.
Save
them.
Brazil.
All right, guys. I'm on my way back to Atlanta. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Texas, I appreciate the hospitality. Everybody in Texas is actually pretty nice. Make sure you like.
But not very smart. But it's college kids, and then it was just random people at a mall and then on the streets. Now, this lady, this will be the last one, I believe. Let me double check.
Do you think Donald Trump's literally
What up?
Hitler?
Yes, this will be the last one. And this one is like, can't believe there's really people that walk around the streets of cities like this who actually think the way they do. And then you sit there and you're like, oh, we'll have a conversation. And I'm like, look, okay, I'll listen. The more I listen on the back and forth, then I realize I'm not high enough for this shit. But I might be now.
Or you don't buy into that propaganda?
I think his propaganda. I think it's pretty charged language he uses. So I'll just say that.
Okay, so you don't like his language. You wouldn't say that he's Hitler, but you think he uses charged language.
Well, he's not Hitler yet.
Yet.
He could be.
Yeah, I think it's possible if he wins. If he doesn't win,
You think he would gather, millions of people and exterminate them? What do you think?
well, he did say he was going to go house to house with illegal immigrants.
That's not exterminating people, by the
And
way.
he was going to go house to house to get them. So he did say that.
Well, ICE does that anyways, right? We deport people all the time.
Yeah, I don't like that either.
You don't believe in deporting illegal immigrants?
The people he's complaining about are legal and they are working here. They're not all criminals. I mean, come on, it's charged language that he uses, that everyone who's coming over the border is criminal, which is not true.
Well, what legal immigrants were deported the first time he was president? I've never heard of that. I mean, there's not really legal grounds to do that.
You can't deport a legal immigrant. Well, yeah, you can.
You can't deport citizens.
But he's,
there you go.
That's a good question, Vince.
It is a good question.
What do you think?
Ask it again.
Yeah, so like what legal immigrants was he deporting during his first term? Because we had 4 years where we saw him as president, and first of all, like, there's no legal grounds to deport a legal immigrant who's a citizen. You can
I agree with that. So
revoke a
why
green
does
card,
he keep talking about them?
But
Like,
he's never
not.
He get rid of.
He
but
doesn't
he's-
talk about deporting legal immigrants. He talks about deporting illegal immigrants.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, he's also saying that the Ohio immigrants that are legal are illegal. Eating pets and stuff.
They're not particularly legal immigrants. I mean, it's kind of semantic, but they are migrants who were given temporary protective status,
because they
which
needed
is
more
essentially
people to work in that area. So
What?
he was doing. I mean, whatever governor is doing good.
That's part of the CNVH program. So they bring in 30,000 people per month. There's also a CBP1 program that brings in another 30,000 people per month. So they kind of bypass the process to come into the country.
They do.
Like you said, it's kind of semantics.
Workers to do the work that a lot of people don't want to do.
Do you support uplifting and revitalizing American communities for Americans over importing foreign labor? What do you think?
This has always been a country that accepts refugees. My dad was a refugee from World War II, and he came to this country and he loved this country.
Oh, she said dad. Fuck. Either way. Your dad was a refugee when he came over here from World War II. Was your dad a child? Or was daddy a doctor? Was daddy a doctor for the Nazis?
I don't know what he would think about it now, to be honest. But it was always open to people, the melting pot, kind of thing. And I don't think we hear about that anymore.
Right. Well, I mean,
open by structured and legal process. I mean, you can't just have people pouring over
but
the southern
he's making
border.
blanket statements about everyone who was not born
No,
in the
he's not.
United States.
He's not. He says illegal people are here illegally.
Yeah, but
especially priority with
first of
those
all,
who
does he
commit
even
crimes
know
in this
who's
country.
legal and who's not? He's not president right now, but he's just making blanket statements.
But that's when he's president, that's a policy he plans on implementing.
What's the policy he plans on implementing?
Deporting illegal immigrants. I mean, as
Okay,
many
all right. I hope he doesn't become president personally.
Oh,
what did you think when Barack Obama deported? Actually, what did you think when Barack Obama
wonder what she's
deported
doing
actually
now.
more illegals
Yeah,
in his
I
term
know
than
that.
Donald Trump?
Yeah. We're not talking about Obama right now.
When it comes down to it, do you see it as more the compassionate position to allow illegal immigrants into the country? Unvetted?
I mean, this is a very complex. Unvetted?
Yeah. At the border, they're unvetted.
How do they vet them? Like, I wish.
Can't.
What do you mean they can't vet them?
They're not vetting them right now. So over the last 3.5 years, you get detained by CBP. right? Customs and Border Protection.
Yeah.
And then
If
you get brought into the country.
Well, like if you already have family in the country, there's a lot
No,
of
they
those.
don't.
Are they still legal or illegal?
Those if you're coming into the country illegally,
Still illegal.
crossing our southern border illegally,
Yeah.
you're an illegal immigrant.
But I know some of the people coming across the border have family, and so they're going to
They're
join them.
still illegal.
We never hear the
We have like a
nuances
legal
of
process.
that.
We have like a legal process that you go
but
through.
we don't hear about the nuance. It's only like black and white, and I think it's a lot more nuanced than.
Let me
the
ask you a
discourse.
question. So, someone.
I have a question about that, but I was going to ask. I mean, do you think that's the compassionate position, though? Over the last 3.5 years, there's been minimum 10 million illegals that have come into the country unvetted under this administration. Do you think that's a compassionate position? Should we just be opening up the border for people?
Well, we have at various times in the United States history.
No, it's the worst border crisis in American history, and it's not even close.
That's because there's more wars going on in South America. You know,
Even during like
Which
World
wars
War
are
I
going
and
on
II.
in South
There's well.
Yeah, answer
I mean,
that.
You're right. The El Salvadorian War, which Nicaragua. I mean, there's been a history of that wars. Also, there's more opportunity in the United States. There always has been more opportunity. And again, there's jobs that
Think about what
some
she's
people
saying.
don't want to take.
There's more opportunities for jobs. Yes, there are jobs that people don't want to take. However, what if one of the prison work release programs was farming and agriculture? Right? Nonviolent offenders? Except for rapists and child predators, because those are still violent offenders in my mind. Or, hear me out. What if you have to work to receive welfare? Right? If you're able to work, not if you're like, well, if you're Bertha with 15 kids from 14 different daddies, yeah, your ass needs to get out there and work because you're probably 600 pounds and need to walk it off. But if you want to stay on welfare and you failed a drug test, oh yeah, we'll drug test you now, because if you have to drug test military members so they can maintain their jobs, why don't you think we can't do that with welfare? It'll make motherfuckers spend the money wisely, not on crack. You know, I don't know. God damn it, OCD.
And they want those jobs. I mean, they always have. It's for decades.
What kind of jobs do they go for? You think like low wage, right?
Yeah, like low wage, you know, stereotypical ones.
Who do you think that
Construction.
disproportionately affects in the country? Low wage earners. Who does that disproportionately affect, if you were to guess?
Well, how many? Well,
if you were to guess.
Sorry, there was something else that popped into my head.
Brown and black communities in the United States get disproportionately affected by illegal immigrants flooding the country, working low-wage work. Drives down wages.
I don't know if that's totally true, and because they're saying there has been documentation about
why there's so many
we
homeless.
need more construction, we need more housing, and usually Hispanics, let's just say brown people, will do those construction work
for low wage.
I'm offended. I'm one of those brown people. Bro, imagine, right? The people that are homeless and that, you know, just down on their luck. What if we gave them housing? Right? Because we can afford that. What if we gave them, you know, amenities? Shit, shower, shave amenities? Internet. We'll give them internet for free. Cable. Work the fields. We'll pay you $10 an hour. Still got to work the fields because we're already supplying you with a place to live. Right? So you don't need $25 an hour. That sounds... I don't know. I don't know.
Well,
What about giving Americans? What about giving Americans that opportunity
if Americans wanted to do, we wouldn't have to. There wouldn't be anyone coming over. You know, there's always been jobs here for non-Americans to come. There's always been jobs.
What about the communities that are struggling right now in the U.S.? We have communities in Chicago that are struggling. Obviously, I'm sure you see it on the news, and the community leaders are coming to City Hall meetings saying, You guys are reallocating funds from our community, our struggling community, and giving tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions, to illegal immigrants. They're protesting right now.
I don't agree. I don't think that's true. If they're illegal here, then they will get sent back. If they're here because they went through the legal and they have, what do you mean? They don't. They're not.
They get housing, health care. Some places they get debit cards. They get food.
They're working.
They are not
There are
working.
clearly some white Americans that don't want to do that job, that can't do those jobs, that are too old to do those jobs, those jobs are very, very hard. And I think there's a lot of white guys that don't want to do those jobs.
They're getting billions of dollars across the United States, billions of dollars per year.
There's a lot of white guys that don't want to do their jobs, so you want the Hispanic guys to do it. What about the brown and black people that are here? Not the illegals that want to work. Huh? How about that?
Taxpayer money.
She
Should we
just
not
wants
be
to replace the
prioritizing
white
Americans
guy.
and uplifting Americans first?
What are you talking
All
about?
the benefits that they get, health care, they get housing, they get welfare in some states.
No, they're not getting welfare.
Yes, they are.
They're working.
In some states, they're able to get benefits, yeah. And in fact, when we were talking about the CNVH program, they actually get federal grants, so they're getting money as well. So if we were to compare this,
Remember when some of these people are coming across the border, these fucking so-called religious organizations that help with migrants, and I forgot what I was talking about.
They're up in 5-star hotels in New York City.
Oh, come on, because they're doing
paid for by
freaking
the
work.
government. No, they're not doing work. Are they paying for the
what
hotel
do they do?
themselves?
They're just because they need people to do the dirty jobs in New York.
Let me tell you, they're not
ones.
paying for those hotels themselves.
Well, you know
It's the
what? I would
taxpayer
like to
who's
go. I'm going to
subsidizing
New York in a couple weeks. I would like to go and see what are you talking
You
about?
won't be able to get in those hotels, I promise you.
No, okay. So are there
Even the
pictures of
Democrat
these?
mayor
So
said it was
are
an
there
issue
people
there.
loitering in these hotels? Are they just loitering there, taking free money from America?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes,
That's
that
right.
is
I don't
actually, that
believe
is
you.
indeed
I have
what
to
is
go
happening,
fact
yes.
check you. I'm
Go
going to
ahead,
fact
go
check
ahead. You're
you.
free to do
I
so.
do not believe
They're
that.
costing a minimum of $150 billion per year
What
of
group are you guys
taxpayer
from?
dollars.
What group is this?
This
I
is
want to know.
we have
Agree to
YouTube
this.
we have YouTube channels.
just have a
What
YouTube
is
channel.
the name of your YouTube channel?
You can check it out. Mine's James Klug, Klug, and then his is Vince Dow.
Okay.
Yeah.
What,
So we're just looking after Americans, trying to uplift communities, and
looking out
we don't
for-
want to
I
be
love
we don't want to be stealing taxpayer dollars and giving
We
them to
love
foreigners
America.
that came to the country illegally.
I'm a child of immigrants, so it's a very sensitive subject because
I am too.
they're inflating illegals. I just.
What do you mean inflating illegals? What do you mean by that?
Inflating because it's like Donald Trump inflates stuff. He goes, "There's billions of immigrants here that shouldn't be here."
He uses hyperbole. He uses hyperbole. I don't know if he said billions before though.
He's
for illegals.
always over exaggerating. I want to know the real people, like my parents that got over here and
Did they
because
come
my
here
dad
legally?
Was coming out of a war, so he
Your
didn't.
dad was
he
a
got
fucking
in because they were
Nazi
letting
doctor, got it.
refugees in.
It was much different. He wasn't getting free housing, free healthcare, free food, debit cards paid for by
I don't know
taxpayers.
the details of that.
I'm
that you're talking
Vietnamese,
about.
and my family's very personally offended by the fact that we did the legal process. Parts of my family had to wait almost 10 years, and now people are just coming across the border and being allowed to stay. I mean, that was never.
I think it's a more nuanced discussion, and
What do you disagree with? What he's saying right there?
I am not an expert at this.
That's okay.
But I
That's
watch a
quite
lot of
obvious.
news. I pay attention.
What news are you watching, if you don't mind me asking?
I try to get the whole gamut. PBS NewsHour is really the most balanced news report.
The fucking second she said PBS, you know she's brainwashed by the government. Who pays for PBS? The government.
So I do listen to that. I watch that. I watch CNN. I watch some Fox. MSNBC. I mean, I'm. But again, there's so much hyperbole going on. The language right now is very heated.
The numbers from Customs and Border Protection, including gotaways, you're looking at comfortably 10 million illegal immigrants.
Illegal immigrants. You're only.
I'm not
discussing.
Yeah, that's all I'm talking about. Just to clarify.
Well, I don't really want to talk about this subject anymore. I'm not an expert at it.
It's okay.
I'm not an expert.
mean, were you aware that many people came across the southern border illegally over the last 3.5 years? Over 10 million?
I don't know which are illegal, which aren't illegal. There's not any
Does
clarification.
it matter?
From Customs and Border Protection.
Okay, then I will go look that up. I'm just taking your word for it.
Of course, ma'am. Absolutely, you're absolutely right. You are just taking my word for it. But let's assume that I'm correct there. Is that a bad thing?
What? What would be about? Because they're coming here and they're taking welfare. Is that what you're saying?
Not just resources from American communities. There's crime. There's all sorts.
There's not crime. They're
There's
the
not
least
crime?
likely to cause crime.
75%, according to NYPD, 75% of crimes in Midtown Manhattan right now are illegal immigrants.
I don't believe that.
Okay.
Look it up. That's from New York Police Department.
I walk a lot on my own in different cities, and I'm
that's cute.
definitely more scared of. I'm not scared of black or brown people for committing a crime against me. I'm scared about everyone else.
Right.
So I do not like that language that they're all criminals.
He's gonna get robbed.
I didn't say that. I just said they're.
He's gonna walk by this
disproportionately
migrant
represented
hotel in New York City and get robbed and be like, "Oh no, I was wrong," and then we're gonna be like, "So."
in certain places in the country. It'll be.
What kind of crime are you talking about?
As long as it's only being
robberies.
robbed.
Robberies are a very common thing in New York.
I do not believe you. I will have to go look that up because
okay.
I think there's a lot
I never
of
said all of them.
over-exaggerated. We need to calm down the language, and this is not helping.
Yeah. Well, I mean, people are being killed by illegal immigrants, and so it's been a problem that are being let into the country illegally under this administration. I care about those Americans.
I know. What else?
Do you?
I mean, I don't want to have this discussion anymore.
Do you care about those Americans?
The people that have died because someone has murdered them? Yes.
That are in the country illegally let in under this administration, letting them just roam across the border.
Every administration they came in during Trump too.
Record
because Obama came, everybody.
Not even close to the same numbers, about 7 to 8 times as much.
There's more people coming here.
Can we not?
Because there's
under
more
this administration.
construction.
Under this administration.
Look, I don't want to talk about this anymore.
I know.
I think we've got to keep the language not so heated and not to demonize the other. Not to demonize the other is very, very scary and wrong.
But the truth is very important.
No, the truth is demonizing other people is causing more anguish.
I'm not demonizing them. I'm telling you the facts.
You're saying they're all criminals.
That's not what I said. You've said that repeatedly, and I've said repeatedly, no, I'm not saying that, and Trump didn't say that either.
Why did you bring that up?
You brought up all criminals.
Yeah.
No, why are you talking about maybe the few times there were murders?
No, it's constant under this administration.
Oh my God. I can't talk to you anymore. That is so not true.
Please look it up. It's the numbers are staggering.
About this country, and this needs to stop. This
Let me know when you get back to New York.
Very demonizing of the other.
I'm simply just telling you the facts here.
Well, I'm telling you.
I'm not trying to be rude or offensive. I'm simply telling you. Give me the facts.
People. The facts are in this country. It's a very prejudiced country that is always against the other.
I'm with a minority right now, and I have no problem with it. It's not about people's skin color.
It's about telling the truth.
It's about telling the truth.
Well, I'm telling the truth. Is that stop demonizing the other. That's all I'm saying.
That's an opinion, but thank you.
That is true.
Thank you, ma'am.
Holy fuck, my brain hurts after that. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I got one final video before I cut out to my final monologue. The other day, how do I say this? One of my, I don't know,
best
5-year fight with cancer, and he lost. This dude, when I first got to my unit, everybody was walking around, and you know me, I'm cocky, I'm arrogant, and everyone was scared of this one guy, one medic. And you know me, like, I'm not gonna fucking be scared. When I see this guy, he's maybe 6 foot tall, almost 290 pounds of fat. And I'm like, why is everybody scared of this guy? And I remember went up to him, shook his hand, or he said, how you doing? Sergeant Ulrich. And I was like, God damn, you're fucking fat, dude. And then like the fucking, like the air had been sucked out of the room. Right? But then, that one incident, everybody realized he was the biggest fucking teddy bear that this unit was ever going to have. And we became really good friends after that. I'm the one that pretty much challenged him for the first time in his career as far as being scary. And I'm the first one to actually call him fat to his face, which is respected. Well, we were in Iraq and we were bored. And I was like, dude, I have an idea, but I need your full support with this. And people are probably going to think I'm making fun of you. We know I am, but you're okay with it. So this video, it's one of the ones we made, and these ones will make me think of the good times.
All right, whenever you're ready.
Now, we're going to cause a hurricane, typhoon, and an earthquake. You ready for this?
Best.
I came to play. There's a price to pay. Time for you to get down on your knees and pray. You say goodbye to the good old days. They're never coming back. Watch your future fade. I came to play to get my dues paid. I guess you had a dream, but it can't be saved. I came to play. There's a price to pay. Time for you to get down on your knees and pray. You say goodbye to the good old days. They're never coming back. Watch your future fade. I came to play to get my dues paid. I guess you had a dream, but it can't be saved.
Yeah, that was good old days, like they said. But we did talk a lot about what's going on in the world, how I envisioned what was going on, and some of what I envisioned. So apparently some politicians envision as well. It's just crazy. You see what's going on in the world, and then you see people in the streets who have no idea what's going on, but at the same time, they think they do. Right? Just amazes me. But I'm not telling you how to think. Bro, that video, when I watch it every time, the videos I made in Iraq, I go, these are fucking stupid. But I'll still watch them. And luckily I saved them onto an old YouTube channel, which is perfect. I don't really remember anything else from that YouTube channel because I think the passwords are old. But I'm not telling y'all how to think because the world is a very big place with many, many, many opinions on what's shown and what you hear. And here you get both. You get like triple opinions sometimes. Depending on what's going on in my head. But I'm just telling you how to think because the more informed you are, the less stupid you look in front of some people. You know what I'm saying? Y'all have a good, it's only Thursday.